which has not been done. The same, it has not been, there is no validation report that has been submitted to that committee to present to the county assembly for approval. So, as we speak now, this project has not been approved by the county assembly. Number two, section 115 entails that laws and guidelines for such a project have to be emanated from the county assembly. In this case, there is none. So in our view, or what we fail to understand is why somebody should be so desperate as to try to implement a project which has not been approved, knowing that it is an illegality. When we talked of public participation, sorry, let me just say one thing. The acting director of housing told the meeting that only 7 MCAs they went with to Naivasha are the ones who approved the project, contrary to provisions of section 114 of the County Government Act. When we come to public participation or public engagement, we had about 6 of them, but on all occasions, they were coming to tell us what they are intending to do or what they have passed, not putting into consideration our inputs, which they were conducting the public participations contrary even to the provisions of their own guidelines. I think we gave out files and we have put all the documents that will prove that they were not even following their own guidelines.
Just a moment, clerk, did you receive any documents from just the same way we do with the governor? If there are documents that were received, I know we might not have enough copies. If there are not enough copies, I want you to share with the senators because they're seated there, just so that when there's reference made, senators, you can have the benefit of integrating the document. And also I'll just be keen.
Chair, we presented enough documents.
Yes.
We presented enough files.
Okay. No worry, the clerk will supply the senators with the files. Go ahead.
On matters of ownership, house ownership, we wrote to the governor a letter dated 6th of March 2024. The governor has never had courtesy even to respond to that letter. From March 2023 up to this moment and time. We wrote him a reminder in October last year. The same, he has not responded to the same. In our letters, we attached sessional paper number 5 of 1958/59, and I'll refer you to page 23 of the same document. Though it is faint, it is somehow highlighted. It talks on how Maringo was constructed. This was constructed with an agreement between the Central Housing Board and the contractor, And they only handed the houses to the city council, the then city council, as trustees to collect rents on their behalf, on behalf of the central bank, which is now referred to as the National Housing Corporation. The sessional paper illustrates how the money was supposed to be used. It included all even claims. We wonder what claims the city council or the county government is claiming on the estate. We also have sessional paper number 4 of 1959 at page 39. It gives the redemption period of the loan, which is put at 25 years. It is very clear that that loan was supposed to be redeemed within 25 years. But the city council have continued collecting rent. They have refused to reply to our documents. In fact, even in our last sitting, the acting director said that they own the houses in trust, meaning the houses do not belong to them. We also have answered extracts of 1960, which is clear. It was now repealing the powers that they had given the then city council, the power to collect rent, now, and gave it back to the Central Housing Board to collect. And it is even clear that what they legalized at that time was only administrative arrangements that the city council and the Central Housing Board had. That is what was legalized in 1960, according to the Hansard report that we have. We have also a Kenya Gazette.
Yes, Senator.
Sorry, Chair. We're just discussing here amongst ourselves, and we appreciate the presentation by Maringo, but quite clearly the issues that are coming up are issues that actually should have come up during public participation. We cannot allege to conduct public participation here. That would not be possible. Chair, what we would want the Maringo representatives to do is perhaps point to the issues that the governor he has made a presentation. What issues do they agree with? Which issues don't they agree with? So that, as we say, Chair, today we must bank something. We can't have this conversation over and over and over again.
Yes, Senator Sifuna.
Chair, allow me to guide the residents, because I know the level of anxiety that these issues arouse. You guide us about the nature of these public participation forums. There was a notice here, and there was supposed to be a public participation on 25th May 2023 at St. Patrick's. Were you there? Were you present?
Yes, we were there.
Were you allowed to say these things that you are saying here now?
These people are only on that day in St. Patrick's. The estate officer came with a document. He read that document, did not share it with anybody, and they just walked out.
So he never allowed you to make this presentation you are making?
No.
Okay, that is the information that is important to the Senate. Now, other than this meeting at St. Patrick's on the 25th of May 2023, has there been any other meeting between you and the county government?
Yes,
in terms of public participation.
We met again on let me just a minute.
You gave us a date here of 2024, 6th March 2024. Oh, that was a letter. There was a meeting of
there is one of 5th August 2023, and another one on 2nd February 2024.
Those are meetings of public participation.
Purported public participations.
Were you present in those meetings?
Yeah, I was present.
Did the county leadership allow you to make that presentation that you're making now?
No, we have never been allowed to make that presentation. And I started by saying that we were written to the governor, and he has not even had the courtesy of responding to the same.
Okay, that is clear, Chair. I think we can move, unless there is any other issue.
I've been very lenient. You have actually taken about 17 minutes.
Thank you.
Yes, but I was giving time because I like classifying sometimes some of these themes that come out. So I think that the theme that I was getting is, one, a miscommunication between you and the governor, where there is no, maybe some exchange communication, which apart I think that the governor will respond to at the right time. But then there's also the issue of the legality of the project. And the one that perhaps actually caught my eye was the issue of the a requirement to have the county assembly certify this kind of project, which I think again governor will talk about, or rather respond to. So in that presentation, I have actually gotten two of those issues: lack of that communication between you and the governor, which I think should be there because it's a stakeholders engagement. Just the way governor would have conversation between the county and developers, there should be conversation between you as residents and the governor. But then the issue of legality, senators, I think that the issue of this county assembly engagement perhaps is something that the governor can respond to at some point. So just governor, just take notes. Your governor was a senator here, and during his time here, I used to follow him so much. He was also the chair of was it at that time? No, there was a coalition. Sorry? When you're MP, isn't it? Yes. He was sharing the coalition and equal opportunity. So I would wish that there is equal opportunity in this conversation, both in terms of communication and even further into the substantive allotment that we talk about. So those two issues, Governor, just note them. Those are the ones I've highlighted. I will go to Lumumba very fast, but please, I am not in the habit of saying it is time, cut, because that's not the fashion here. But I wanted to go to Lumumba, and then I'll go to Jericho Fafa. Lumumba?
Chair.
Yes, Senator?
Chair, I think if you want us to move very fast, what we need to do is to guide our guests on what the governor has said. If they are objecting to what he has said, what point? They must point out which point they are not agreeing with, which one they are agreeing with, so that we can move forward very fast.
Fair enough.
On one issue, Bonacha, our friend said that the issue of land or those properties belongs to who and who. The property belongs to the people of Kenya. And that is what he should note. From there now, we can keep on moving very fast. Please guide us.
No, that's guided. That's guided. I think you've taken note from what actually Senator Sifuna emphasized that. All the senators have emphasized that. Let us, for the purpose of moving forward, the governor has done a presentation. The clerk did capture all the conversations that we have had in the past, which was what I call a status report. Let us try and interrogate those ones. Which ones do you feel satisfied about? Which one do you feel you agree with? What should we take note of as senators in terms of those presentations? So Lumumba.
Governor and fellow.
By the way, just a moment, Chair. I like simplifying conversations such as this because we dealt with the issues in Mombasa, and it was very complex sometimes for even the petitioners to say just what do you want. I think that this is an opportunity also for you to simplify it for us as senators, as well as the governor. This is what we want, because that's a harder way of actually be able to make sure that as senators you can be able to converge with you and the governor on this issue. Is that okay? Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chair, Your Excellency the Governor, and Honorable Senators. My name is Agesa Omega. I'm standing in for our Chair, Walter Ogodi. Most has been said by my colleague from Maringo. I'm saying not my colleague, my fellow owner from Maringo. Owner. Why do I say owner? Not tenant. Owner.
Chair, can you restrain the governor from
Governor, stop
intimidating
intimidating.
and threatening the witness?
No, but I've never seen.
Governor, you only speak to the chair.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Chair, please.
You confused me.
You know these matters. Chair, please.
confused me.
You know these matters are fairly emotive, eh? And if there is need for physical separation of the governor from the witness, it will help us so that he is free to express himself. I've known governor not to be a violent person.
I guess proceed.
I am now concerned.
Kila safari huanza na ndoto. Ndoto za kufanikiwa maishani, ndoto za kufanikiwa kibiashara, ndoto za kufanikiwa kimaendeleo. For 4 decades, we have been your trusted partner, witnessing the achievements of each generation. As we celebrate 40 years, our promise is to be with you for life. Tufanikishe zaidi.
He never mentioned anywhere the things which the last Senate asked him to produce. And if he could have produced all those, he could have known we are the owners. What I'll give, the governor came and also admitted the county had not gotten a contractor. We are not dealing with Governor Sakaja. We are not dealing with General Badi. We are dealing with Nairobi County government and the NMS, because NMS was a legal entity. So let's start it from the NMS. Our first engagement with the NMS was, and that's the question we asked, how about when NMS leaves the office? The officials by that time responded by saying, Justice Helen Wasilwa ruled it very clearly. NMS is a legal entity. So let's start it from where NMS started this project. In February 15, they called us. We have a meeting with them, which we responded to the call.
Which year?
February 15, 2021.
2021, okay.
We responded to the call, and they required us to do some things, which was registering of resident associations, which we did. The first meeting with the county government stroke NMS was in July 1st of 2021. And there were some things we discussed. They told us of the goodies of the project, but we had to drag them back because we are victims of historical injustice. Why do I say victims of historical injustice? Our parents, when they got these houses, when they were allocated, there were documents, and even as my other co-owner Unyia has stated, the sessional paper of 1959, sessional paper number 3 of 1959, it stated very clearly, the rent, the loan which had come from the Colonial Development Fund to the Central Housing Board will be repaid through rent structure. Through rent what? Structure in the document. We came to independence, and they can even admit it in one of their documents. The first estate to be constructed, to be built by the Nairobi County government, was Uhuru Estate. Uhuru what? Uhuru Estate. Why is Block 51 unique? Because it sits on one piece of land, Maringo, Ofafa, and Lumumba. And in that one piece of land, you realize that's where the whole issue is. No title deed, The other time he told the Senate committee in last year March, we were preserving the lands. That was not the role of the county government. It's the role of the National Lands Commission, not the county government. Why did they come in 2021? Because that was the expiry of the duration. They are waiting for the expiry of the duration of the historical injustice. That's when they came and ambushed us. Our parents have gone to the graves crying fall of what the county government did to them. How did they play the fall? They took the first cards, which had a lot of things. Now they gave us the cards, which now had the social housing thing. When they gave us those cards, when our parents went to ask in 1988, they asked the councillor by then, Sami Mbogwa, tunataka nyumba zetu. The only thing they could tell us is, wapi imeandikwa hiyo? Knowing very well when they had come from the village, they never knew anything related with the law and housing. The governor each and every time they ambush us, through SMS, unlike before, when they advertise one, two, three things in the media. I'm talking of the print media. We have the copies of the print medias with us. When we had the first engagement with them, that's why I say we cannot trust them. They keep on shifting goalposts. We agreed all what had been discussed, which we presented to the Senate committee last year, for them to avail. After availing, we agree on certain issues, which they said, kama iko hivyo, kama ni ukweli, we shall honor it. We agreed their secretary, and our secretary, they meet, they synchronize the meeting minutes, it become one document, not a public participation, a document for the minutes. From that time, they have been taking us in circles, ambushing us with things which are not there. Only for the March 2022, we were invited to go to the NMS offices, NMS/NTCG offices at KCC. Because we kept on asking them, if you can't honor these minutes, how will you honor the agreement?
Even though we're graduating, we should keep up the Vatal spirit going forward. It will remind us to aim for excellence, to be problem solvers, and to be light bearers for the future generations of Italians.
To register, they engaged us first in July 1st, 2021, and yet if you check on the document, the expression of interest was advertised in January 2021. And as per the Constitution says, public participation, we have to be engaged. They never did that. They said whenever they'll be coming on the ground, they will be accompanied by any member of the resident association, which never took place. And one of the person who contravened those things is in the house with us from the county government side. He used to come akijificha the way the Maringo chairman has said. They could even come with cameras in some double cabin vehicles, wanapiga picha kidogo. We don't know what they are doing. When they see the residents, they run away. So we wondered, is this an open project? If you check on the EOI, and if you check on
What is the name of the person?
Kemboi is in this room. We have even the video.
Who is Kemboi? I want you to be explicit.
Yeah, Kemboi is
works with the.
He's the chief housing officer.
Yeah, just.
The chief housing officer, Mr. Kemboi.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's continue.
Yes. They continue doing all that.
Just point of order. What video do you have? You said you had a video of him running away or what?
Doing some surveying of the land at the AB zone.
Okay, proceed.
Yes. even as the governor says, they're in touch with the people, we do pay rents, do they maintain the houses? Ask them which was the last time they maintained those houses. We have just become a milking cow. I think I will stop with that leave for my chairman Mugonda because of time.
Okay.
Just one question, Chair, to Mr. Gesa.
Go ahead, Senator.
Mr. Gesa, we have a report here from the county government on this public participation. They say there's an exercise at Lumumba Social Hall on the 25th of May 2023. Were you present at that exercise?
I was present. And when
did you get opportunity to say the things that you are telling the Senate today?
We were present. Our main role was just to listen to what they've come to tell us.
So you didn't tell them any of these things?
They said, no, tumeambiwa tu tuwasomee hii karatasi. Tulipouliza, wakatuelezea, ati hii karatasi, tumeambiwa tusipatie mtu. That was the estate officer.
Okay.
Estate officer Lumumba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chair, another supplementary. Chair, with what Mr. Agesa has just said, what then, as per your own question, Chair, is the ask from him representing Lumumba?
Yes.
Go ahead.
What we expect from the county government is for them to come and hold a public participation. We discussed some of the things we are raising here, one of them being the ownership of the land. Immediately settle the issue of the ownership of the land, that's when we shall now discuss about the project.
Okay, I guess just as I said, yes. I like concretizing what I'm trying to get into the theme, and that's why actually, if you had about substantive questions, the four of them, now they are coming out, Governor. I'd ask about the question of successive tenancies, which was basically substantially the issue of is there an ownership problem or this? But for you particularly, Gesa, you have referred to session paper number 3.
Yes.
Which was a contract of finance proposals.
Yes.
For the Nairobi African Housing Project.
Yes.
Are you telling this committee that in your humble view, or rather your understanding, that session paper was a contractual agreement that the tenancy payments you were making were towards ownership?
Yes.
I want that to be very clear so that
yes.
it's a substantive issue, Senator, so that you take it note. That is your understanding as residents?
That is my understanding.
Yes.
Adding unto what? I was not born in Pumwa, I was born in...
Yes, so you and that's why I was talking about succession, because you brought the issue of your parents,
yes,
who might have been privy to this understanding, and that's why you have filed that contractual paper with us.
Yes.
Is that the understanding?
Yes.
Senators, I want to take note of that.
That's okay, Chair. So
yes.
Then the only thing that...
The power is now in your hands, enabling you to pay bills on the updated Stanbic mobile app. After login, select Bill Payments. Then create a new bill by selecting a biller. Key in account number and amount you want to pay. You can save the biller at this point for future use. Then, confirm the details, authorize the transactions, and you are good to go. To check your pending bills and saved billers, go to the Bill Payments option at the bottom of the login screen for previous bills and the amount owed and your list of saved billers. Download the updated Stanbic mobile app today.
I want to finally just let him clarify whether this dispute, a dispute about ownership of land, there's places you can take those disputes.
Yes.
I don't think that sitting with the county governor, you cannot discuss and agree who owns what.
Yes.
So which institutions are handling that dispute about the ownership of Lumumba and Maringo and Jericho?
Yes. What we did, we had to go apply to the National Lands Commission. we had to give our place. Then Commissioner Fatma had to release a team to come on the ground. A team of surveyors, Fatma herself, the surveyor was by the name of Paddy. They came on the ground. They did the survey they started with Maringo, then they came to Lumumba, then they went to Ofafa. And they said they are doing that pegging because in their records, this land does not have any owner. That's why it doesn't have an LR number.
So your position, or what you're telling this committee, is that this dispute is before the National Lands Commission on ownership, not the size or whether who has the title. Who owns this land is a question before the Land Commission, the National Land Commission.
Yes, it's before the Land Commission. And when we did a follow-up, we had to do a follow-up, the National Lands Commission.
Use the mic, please.
We had to do a follow-up, the National Lands Commission. Then after doing a follow-up, sometime back, it was last year, we were summoned by Commissioner Fatma. She told us, we have realized the Nairobi, that is immediately the governor had just come from the Senate committee, this committee of roads and housing. She told us, we have realized the county government has got the title deed. What we asked her was, how comes they have a title deed and the governor admitted before the Senate committee on roads and housing in front of all media cameras, the county government does not have a title deed. Now, where have they gotten it from?
Now, these documents have come from you, right?
Yes.
There's a letter here inviting you to a hearing before the National Lands Commission on 30th of April.
Yes.
You are aware of this?
Yeah, they ambushed us over the weekend. And
what do you mean by, how much time do you need? Because you seem to be very knowledgeable about the history of this matter. Even if I woke you up in the middle of the night to appear before this committee, you're telling how much time do you need? Because we can also help you.
No, I don't.
This letter is dated 23rd of April, and they are calling for a meeting on 30th of April, which is a 7-day notice.
In fact, we had a meeting yesterday evening, all the 3 estates, discussing about that letter. Why are we not in agreement with the letter? The letter came through someone who was just a coordinator, and he left the association a long time ago. We have been writing to the National Lands Commission directly as Lumumba Resident Association.
So you're saying you will not attend this hearing?
I'm still answering your question, Senator.
No, you know, I guess we need to make some progress.
Yes.
Let's make progress.
Yes.
And I want you to be very honest with us, because yes, we have been more than honest with you.
Yes.
As a senator, you know how much we have dwelt on this matter.
Yes.
Chair, as a senator of Nairobi, one of the frustrations I have, and I have to express this because I've said it to Chairman Mgonda, I've said it to Sam, is that there appears to be a hesitation from you to resolve this question. That whenever there is opportunity for that conversation to happen, you look for excuses for that conversation not to happen. Chairman, if the National Land Commission has invited you, and you have rightly said they are the ones who should be able to resolve this question, even if they call you today or tomorrow, honestly speaking, what is wrong with appearing before the National Lands Commission?
We have no objection, but
you are saying it should come through you. The invitation should come through you.
No, I'll give you the reason why we are still discussing of it. The letter, we received it on Saturday in the evening, not a working day. And it never came through the official channel. Chair, it came through someone.
Chair, please.
Senator Wambua.
Please, Chairman, you are representing the Chairman. Please let's make progress on this matter.
Yes.
Are you disputing the contents of this letter?
We are not disputing. We can avail ourselves anytime.
Are you disputing the contents of this letter?
We are not disputing.
You are not disputing?
We are not disputing.
Then if you are disputing, what is the problem?
We will appear.
The problem is how it came to you. I mean, really, surely. This is a serious matter.
Yes.
Please, let's make progress on this matter, Chair. Please.
Yes, we will appear before it.
Chair.
Senator Chute.
Yes, I want to ask Chair a specific question. Question number 1. All these years, our friends have been paying some kind of a rent. I want to know, they were paying to who? number one. Number two, the governor has just said that he's giving houses to the former tenants. What is his take on this? Is he agreeing to it or not?
We don't refuse.
Chair.
But one thing, we are not trusting the Nairobi County government. They don't honor their promises.
The first question is, you've been paying rent. You've been paying to who? Which institution?
Nairobi County government.
So now you are telling us.
You know, Chair, I just want to, Chair, just let me make this point.
Please go ahead, Senator.
That I would very much want. You know,
Yes.
one of the things you have not told the Chair is that this dispute arose in the 80s. I think it's 1987. Your senator was 5 years. Senator Eddie, who is chairing, I don't think he was born yet. We want to resolve this question once and for all.
Yes.
Before I leave this Senate,
Yes.
I want to be able to have resolved this. And I'm sure there is a commitment on the part of the county government also to make sure that there is finality.
Yes.
And because this is a house of records, the governor has said certain things, and I want him to say it himself regarding that question of ownership. But what I wanted to request, these are constitutional bodies that are mandated to settle these disputes.
Yes.
Disputes regarding land ownership, you have rightly identified to be the National Land Commission.
Yes.
I want to make a request, a very passionate request to you, that just the way you have been cooperating with this committee, whenever we call you, I don't hear you complaining about notice, about who has brought the letter. I send text messages to you directly, all of you here.
Yes.
Just appear and make your case, because as Chair, sometimes I get so frustrated. And Chairman, I want you to address this because I've spoken to you directly. It doesn't matter what somebody calls a meeting. If you call Sifuna into a meeting and I know that I don't agree with certain positions, it doesn't matter what you call it. I will go there and say what I want to say. That is why you saw me asking the chair from Maringo whether they were present in these meetings and whether they were allowed to say the things they are telling us now. How is it that the Senate is the only environment where you people can say these things? Do you want us, the Senate, this Senate, do you want us to transform ourselves into the National Land Commission, into the courts, into the Nairobi County government, so that you can have honest conversations?
Yes.
Do you want this chair? Because when Senator Crystal was asking you, what do you want us to do so that we can resolve this crisis? Do you want this committee to be present physically in your meetings with the county government, or what is it that you want so that we can resolve this question?
We'll appear before the National Lands Commission.
Chair,
Yes.
I'm listening.
Yes.
There is no way. There's something called reality check.
Yes.
Where you find yourself now,
Yes.
there is no way you avoid the Nairobi County government.
Yes.
It's not possible.
Yes.
And I empathize. I've been talking about this both at the level of government, national and county government, that constantly we see a loss of trust with the government in both sides. It's an unfortunate situation, where the population loses trust for whichever reason. And I don't want to get into the transactions that have been between you and the county government, whether it's right or wrong. But for whichever reason, we constantly have a population that is constantly losing trust with the county government and sometimes also with the national government. It's an unfortunate state of affairs because it is the Nairobi government that is transactioning, in this case, with the developers.
Yes.
And the reason why I ask you about session paper number 3 is because you are also agreeing that there was, whether it is substantively understood so, or whether it is a misguided understanding, there is some understanding that the payments that were happening in that tenancy agreements were towards the ownership of the land of some sort.
Yes.
The governor has equally been very clear, and if I quote you wrong, Governor, you can correct me on your responses, that once these developments are done, the residents would be given the houses for free. And they say that free is not an issue of being free because you had been paying rent over time, and you've been members of this estate for over time.
Yes.
So there is an understanding there that we're not appreciating.
Yes.
So what I want to request you, because I've read the letter that Senator Sifuna has referred to here, what I want to request you, first of all, is to make sure that you engage with the county government. Number two, make sure that you engage with the National Land Commission. And perhaps do us a favor to update us on what that conversation has been. Because while the Senator of Nairobi says that we cannot transform ourselves into National Land Commission and the courts, we also, because we work for the people, you sent us to these houses. Senator Sifuna is your representative. He talks on behalf of you. He has got no interest. This issue done, we can be able to invite the National Land Commission, invite you, and invite the county government in a multi-stakeholder conversation. But first of all, we need, I don't know whether to say is to restore that trust, because we can't, but we need that engagement to continue.
Yes, we will.
So please listen to Senator Sifuna and engage with the National Land Commission, appear there, say what you need to say, be firm, update the Senate. Is that a good place to finish your presentation? So I can go to the next.
We agree. I agree with it.
Thank you.
In total.
Can I go to Jericho Fafa?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Again, my name is John Mgoda. I am the chairman of Ofafa Jericho Residents Association. Chair, there is a danger of a driver arriving at his destination without passengers. I say this, and I would like to avoid emotions. We have had an extremely difficult moment dealing with the county government. And as an alternative, that is why we find ourselves in this honorable Senate. Difficulties in the sense, I have had public participation meetings being referred to many times. I've been before this Senate. Chair, in Ofafa Jericho, we are still in ground zero. Ground zero for the reason that the meeting of 12 February 2021, which was held just before the Lumumba one, was at the height of COVID. It was held at the Jericho Hall at the height of COVID. But what was the essence of that meeting? First, to form associations that will act as a bridge between the people of Jericho and the county government. Thereafter, any other meeting that has been held was without the public. It was only the committee that meant the principal officers of the county government. And guess what? Anytime they came to those meetings, notices which I have here don't read like invitations for public meetings, public participation meetings. All they stated is, we are coming to update you on the progress. And hang on, when were we ever involved? These are the first days that from 2019 COVID time, 2021 we start meetings. You're telling us to form associations, meet your people for public participation, but they don't come in public participation. Somebody has been mentioned here from the county government, Mr. Kiboi, will stand with me as a witness against his own employer. They never used to come to us with seeking our views, even as their own public participation guidelines say.
Just a moment, John. I don't mean to interfere with your thought process. I like the way you are presenting, but you've mentioned something here that also I think I guess I also mentioned. The the meeting that was held in February 2021 that perhaps encourage the residents to have associations, form these associations to engage with the county government. And of course, it was facilitated by NMS. Is that true?
Yes, Chair.
The two of you, may you just help me understand, was the association formed particularly in anticipation of this renewal and regeneration project?
Correct.
And at that time, were you amenable to it? As in, did you accept the idea of that renewal and regeneration of the estates?
No.
You did not?
No.
Agesa? You did not accept it? Okay, so, sorry? Put yourself on record.
We did not accept it because if you could check on their document, and you check on the one which had for the 1959, there were similar documents.
Okay.
And one was never honored.
Okay.
So we never trusted them to honor this one.
Okay. I just wanted to make that so that we can
To engage with the county government, right? And you
Now, after forming those associations, we expected the only good thing they would have done, noble thing, is anytime they wanted to meet the residents, they would come through us, and that was the intention. We would create an atmosphere, maybe arrange meetings and stuff like that, so that when they come to the ground, we will have been involved.
So, because again, the conclusions, no, Senator, you've asked a very good question. You're not opposed to the project, at least at a conceptual level, because I think the commission went through. You are not opposed to the project. What is becoming a point of constraint is that the county government is not engaging the associations and the leadership of the association as you had formed them.
They are not engaging us.
They're not engaging the association. Everything you're saying here is what the government must respond to, and we must get to conclusion. So there's issue of not engaging the associations and the association's leadership. Do I get that as an issue?
Both the associations and the subjects.
Okay. So
Chair, just
continue.
let him continue.
So continue.
Chair,
Yes, continue.
point of order. Chair.
Yes, Senator Asige.
Thank you, Chair. Is it in order, Chair, for us to continue without our member being able to go on record? Because she has walked in and she has tried to catch your eye. But, Chair,
sorry.
you are not allowing your eye to be caught.
No, my eye was caught by the residents. I apologize about that. I was so focused on this other side. Senator Tobiko, please put yourself on record. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Senator Sige. Chair, my name is Paris Tobiko, member of this committee.
So much, Senator. Sorry, I was so engaged on this side. I didn't notice you coming, but thank you so much for coming to the meeting. So please, John, continue.
Well,
I'll add you
after the formation of those associations, which definitely were the vehicle to approach these discussions, what followed later was strictly a meeting with the association, or rather the committee members. So we met for about 3 times. But in these 3 meetings we met with the chief officers, in one major meeting, we agreed on certain things. If you allow me to mention, including the name of the officer, Madam Marion, who was there then, she said, after lengthy discussion, she is the one who coined the word renovation. So you people don't want the regeneration project. What you want is renovation. In that case, then, I'll give you 10 days within which you should send in your views about renovation. And she agreed to the fact that there was no demolition that was going to happen, because that was what was going on. And by the way, the threatening language that was used to us, we begin in August to evict you people, August of 2021, when the project was still very young. So in those meetings, at one time, we agreed the minutes of 29th June 2021, should be synchronized, harmonized with those of the county government so that we can agree to sign one set of minutes. We sent the minutes at first. They were never received. They said they don't have an office. We sent a set of minutes again to City Hall. And when we discovered that they are dodging us, what we did is we used the courier. We used Wells Fargo, and we used the G4S to deliver those draft minutes. To date, and they are in some of the files that we have given the members of this committee, we gave members of the committee for their ease of reference. Those minutes have never been signed to date. Now, regarding Jericho in particular, the meeting that was held all over the 13 estates on 25th of May, we held that meeting. Only the county, the estate officer did a speech. We did not allow any of the members of the county government to speak. Why? Because they are going to treat this as a public participation meeting, and we have documented it even before it happened and even after it happened. And in that meeting, we told them, you always come to us to rubber stamp what you have already done in the background. Rubber stamping what? This book, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, is not our product. It is the product of the NMS, and the county government's logo is there. We did not produce this document, and therein lies a lot of information which they themselves have captured. Now, when they failed to sign these minutes, and when that meeting of public participation was called, and we drew their attention to this book, it did not augur well with the residents. And by the way, what happened, there was an altercation, and the officers went to seek refuge in the ward admin's office within Jericho Social Hall. I must mention here that by 12:30, that meeting was in disarray. But we reached out to our Honorable Senator Sifuna, and he stopped what he was doing. He came all the way up to Jericho Hall. And after that, when we explained our case, that is when he realized the grave concerns that we had and arranged for us to come to Senate. We could only seek refuge in the Senate. Why? Even now I've heard you say, Chair, that you will make arrangements for us to meet the governor. I have only met my governor since elections twice, today and last time.
Chair, point of order. Point of order.
Governor, you'll have your time.
No.
Don't.
That's why it's a point of order.
Chair. You're not allowed to have a point of order because you're not a member of this house.
I'm a member.
You are a member, but I will make sure. I will make sure. Governor,
It costs you nothing to hear me.
Governor, just a moment. Let him just finish.
Chair,
once he finishes, I'm gonna make sure that I give you a right of response.
Of course, I'm responding to everything that
Yes,
I've said.
but
you don't know what I want to ask.
No. The reason why I'm saying this is because when he's presenting, I want him just to finish his presentation, then I come to you. I'm going to give you a chance to be able to ask. Can you just finish your presentation, John, because you've got only about 2 minutes to finish.
I will.
Allow him to speak. Allow him to speak. Please, Chair.
John, go ahead.
And therefore, our views which we are presenting to you today and which have been captured in those files in quite some detailed documentation, is that, as Senator Sifuna stated, that there seems to be something here, that we either need this to be resolved or not to be. We need it to be resolved like yesterday. But the problem has been, right from the word go, we offered ourselves to come to public participation meetings, which were never meaningful. And secondly, because you cannot be heard, then the only alternative you have is to seek for alternative institutions that can help you. And that is why we have gone to NLC. Because of the land, we believe we own this land, legally so. And we still also understand we legally own these houses as our houses. because they were rent to own a house, as you have already been explained in those documents that you have been given and as already explained by my Maringo counterpart. Chair, we were going to seek...
You have one more minute.
We were going to seek your indulgence here, that you engage NLC and engage the county government to please hear us out. We are still in square one. We still believe the residents said no to this project. Proper consultations have never been made, and the law has been broken left, right, and center. We live in fear in our estates. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, I wanted to give you a chance to perhaps raise your concern.
Chair, I think next time we have such an engagement, everyone should be on oath. Because there's a lot of disingenuity. Chair, I will share with you a letter, because he says he's met me once or twice, and that they seek audience and they're not getting audience. We invited them for a meeting with me on the 7th of April, 2025. They came and stopped residents from attending the meeting at Charter Hall. Why is he not saying that? You cannot come to the table of equity without, you must have clean hands. So when you call you for the meeting and you come with placards and you threaten others who are registering from attending the meeting, are we really being honest, Chair?
Chair, I think that is why, Governor, I think the guidance of the Chair initially was the correct one, that you allow these people to express themselves. These matters are a motive for everyone. Then during your response, you can even table those problems, because me personally, and I will say this because I don't fear anybody here, I have raised this concern and I've repeated it here, that our chairs appear to be afraid to go to certain meetings because they think, and Governor, you can understand, because one of the issues, Chair, is that...
Your chairs means chairs of the association.
Yes, these chairs.
Yes, not the chairs of the committees.
One of the reasons is that the minutes of those meetings, and this is a matter that I have brought to the attention of the Governor himself, I've written to you myself, asking for minutes of his meeting. That is the fear of these county chairs. And it is our responsibility as a leadership to address those fears so that we can actually unlock this dispute. So, Chair, I think you had guided properly. Let the chairs finish. Let the chairs finish. I think we only have 2 more to go, and they have more to say. We have not even gotten to Woodley. Bado tujatoka Eastlands.
So I think we have got 2 more. Thank you, Joe, for your presentation. And Governor, just as I said, actually the way the meeting is going is actually the way it confirms that you're on trial. It's not the other way around where one must rebut the other. But I think that just take note. I'm going to give you sufficient time to respond to some of the concerns that are raised. Let me go to. Let me actually go to Woodley. Let me go to Woodley because I want to mix this. The gentleman, you're from Ofafa, right?
Yes.
Yes. Ofafa has just been represented by the chair.
Yeah, but I want to ask before you go to Woodley, there's some information that you are lacking. Governor is lacking, Senator is lacking, but if it's known, then these discussions will be even more easier to solve.
How many minutes do you need to tell me the information?
2-3 minutes.
I'll give you 2.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone in the room. I have stayed in Maringo since 1962. I was 5 years old. We were the first alpha in Nairobi. Now we are moving out, leading to other alpha. What I want to say is this. 1974, His Excellency Mwai Kibaki, and I want Sifuna to help us on this. 1974, Mwai Kibaki, His Excellency, our late, he went to Parliament, passed about owning these houses, and it went first reading, it went second reading, then there was going to be an election. So Kibaki left, went to Othaya, and those two readings are still in Parliament. Honorable Sifuna, can you go and look for these hazards? Because it is one of the documentary evidence, supportive documentary evidence in what we are doing and saying here. Secondly, yes. Secondly, about ownership. I don't know anywhere on this planet someone builds a house without a title, without showing documentary evidence of what you own, and the designs of those houses or whatever you want to build. So when governor says they own the houses, maybe we would like to see the designs that the county government had and the titles to show that they own.
I will help say Sifuna there very fast, and thank you for the contribution. I didn't even know that his former, His Excellency the former president was involved.
Yes.
But
1974.
Yes. Remind me of your name again.
Honorable Mwai Gakuya.
Yes, Mwai. I wanted to just share with you that in Parliament, when a member wants to pass law and they have brought that proposal in the House and it has gone through first and second reading, and one, it can collapse in those engagements. It can be passed or not passed by members.
It was passed, but
just let me guide you. Yes. But most importantly, if it wasn't made law, and in that session then it didn't go through, it lapses in that session. So it's very unfortunate. I wish that actually the late president followed this through and made it law. But because it wasn't made law, it would be difficult for Senator Sifuna to go and dig it because he died with that session.
Okay, can you advise me?
Chair, just switch off your mic, Mwai.
Yes, sir.
I want to commit to you. It is very easy to get parliamentary records. The Hansard is there, but what the chair is struggling to tell you is that a law only passes after that third stage. But as to the debate, the record is there. We can always get it for you. So I think, Chair, we can move to the next.
Well, I'll move to Woodley, but I will definitely encourage Senator Sifuna to get us the material. But just in terms of the legal framework, it is if it didn't pass, it died with that session.
What I'm trying to say, Chair, is that those documents in Parliament are part and parcel of supporting documentary evidence.
I get it.
So what I was asking Sifuna, to bring those and then ratili itaanguka. Thank you.
Yeah, but I must, just a moment, I must help you because you seem to be a veteran there. You actually lose more on this conversation when you go to refer to a document that was not passed by law. So, but that's for another day. So just switch off your mic, and then let's hear from Woodley.
Maybe give me a second or two to.
Please. I will give you some other time, but let the gentleman here also get a chance, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Sam Gachago, and I'm the chairman of the Woodley Development Initiative. And nataka kusalimia our governor, Governor Sakaja, who I have not seen since he was elected governor. I last saw him in his office in KICC. It is good to see you, Governor. And I'd also like to say hello to Lydia Mathia, who has evaded seeing us for the last 8 months. Governor, it is true that the redevelopment in Woodley has proceeded, but at the moment there seems to be very little activity, and people are asking questions as to what is going on. Number two, I know there were certain problems with people going to court, And out of the 43 people, only 22 or so people were given their 900,000 shillings for relocation. I was approached by a lady who nearly undressed in front of me saying she wants her money. And I asked her, where do I get Governor Sakaja to ask him this question? And it is something that you as a governor need to look at. You need to make a decision as to whether you're going to give the other 22 people who have not received their relocation allowance money, because there are some very elderly ladies who are crying foul because they need to receive this money. Yes, it's true, we did support this redevelopment, and we have been supporting the redevelopment process since 2014. And the fact of the matter is, there would be no Woodley Estate. Woodley Estate had disappeared and was going to disappear. But for the gallant fight that was put up by the residents, we managed to save the estate for the county government. At that time, it was the Nairobi City Council, at great expense and sacrifice. When you come to talking about, I think, is it lot 2, 3, 4, and 5? I think one of the basic things that you should do is inform the community in Woodley what is actually going on, because right now they are wondering, are we going to be taken by surprise? It was not surprise, but it is very, it's a sad thing to see people being removed at night, and that is one thing, Governor Sakaja, we don't want to see in the future. We want a structured way of dealing with this. Just like how we would like to see a structured way of dealing with public participation. The redevelopment process is good for the city, but it has to be done with adequate public participation. As you've heard, everybody, most of the other chairmen are crying public participation. So what we are asking you as a governor is to ensure that these public participation meetings are structured in the proper manner. Now, I'd like to deviate, Governor Sakaja, from, with the permission of the chair.
Go ahead.
To discuss an issue that has been plaguing Woodley for the last 2 months. We do not understand why we are getting threats of eviction from the housing department now and then. And this is creating a lot of disease amongst. I've written to you about that, and I think you have told us to see your chief officer, Miss Mathia, and she has not been available. But we did manage to see Patrick Mbogo, who assured us that they are looking into the matter. And all this is all due to rent arrears and rent anomalies, rent payment anomalies, which all we wanted to do is sit down with the concerned officials and sort out the issue so we can move forward. Otherwise, beyond that, I don't think there's anything very much I can say. It's only to ask the Chief Officer Housing, please, just accord us the opportunity to sit with you. We'd appreciate it very much. And I'm sure the government has told you, the governor, and don't ask me how I know, has told you to do so. So please make sure you do that, and we shall sort things out. Because one of the basic things that we want to discuss with the county is that issue of public participation. You have stated you have 3 more lots, which we do not know of, and we would like to know exactly what you're planning. We had indicated in our proposal that we should form a liaison committee between the county and the developer and the residents. And that would help resolve a lot of issues. So when we have our next meeting with Madam Mathia, I think we shall bring this up. and I'm sure we shall be able to move forward on these issues. Apart from that, Governor, all the other issues with regarding to the infrastructures have been spoken of, and you have actually pointed out exactly what the county is doing. And we hope...
Sam, I don't mean to cut you, but I still advise you that you don't address the governor, you address the chair.
Oh,
yes.
I beg your pardon.
Thank you. But continue.
Yes. I was talking about the infrastructural development when you're doing a major redevelopment. You've explained it very well that the county is doing things and is continuing to do so. So I think I don't have much more to say to the governor. All I can do is wish him well. And because you have come to redevelop our estate where we've lived for more than 50 years, please do so with a human heart. Thank you very much.
Senators, from the plenary made for by Mr. Sam, do you have any input, question?
Yeah, Chairman, I am quite surprised that Sam Gashago getting this opportunity, all he has to do is to wish the governor well. Because in my office, Honorable Chair, there is a file, this thick, of letters from Sam Gashago and the residents of Woodley. So I was expecting more from you, Sam, but let me address ourselves to the key issues. Because after today, Sam, I don't expect you to write me letters regarding matters that would have been addressed here today.
Okay.
There was a public participation on the 25th of May, 2023. And in fact, on that day, the only public participation that I swung by to see how it is going on was Woodley and Jericho Lumumba. So I want to ask you, as a resident of Woodley, what was the problem with that public participation of 25th May? Did you encounter similar problems to your friends from the East?
Oh, yes. On the 20th, the one that you attended at the social hall. Yes, okay, fine. That one, obviously, basically that public participation, yes, there was everything wrong with it because it was not a public participation for Woodley residents. It was a public participation that included the stakeholders, shop owners, the hawkers, and so forth. So it didn't specifically address the issues concerning Woodley issues. The Woodley issues concerning the redevelopment were beclouded by other issues which did not affect the Woodley residents. It did not come out very well and strongly to bring out the main issues that the Woodley estate residents wanted clarified.
Okay, and secondly, clarify to us, because I think from your evidence today, there are people who are still not compensated. I was under the impression, Governor, that that was complete, but you will clarify in your response. Do you have a sample or a copy of a letter of the allotment letters that the Governor has said all of you have received?
I do have a copy, but not, no, I don't have a copy with me right now.
But have you seen it
I've
yourself?
seen one, yes.
Okay, what does it say generally? What are people getting?
You know, as with an allotment letter, it just specifies exactly that, that one will get a unit.
Do you know the unit, the size, the design, which floor, whatever it is?
No, it's impossible right now because right now, the biggest problem with this redevelopment is that there was no master plan in the beginning. Nobody actually knew exactly what was being built on the ground. And this is what we were clamoring for. And I think you remember very well that we were asking, why can't we get a master plan? Even if it's a master plan for the entire Woodley estate. That has not been forthcoming, and we were promised that last year.
Okay, finally, Chair, on this other issue of rent arrears, I gave you some advice on how to resolve some of these matters. If a county government writes to you threatening to evict you, and they are claiming rent arrears and you have paid and you have evidence of payment, there is a place you go, Sam. Have you guys gone where I advised you to go?
No, we haven't gone that. We haven't gone there.
Why are you putting all your faith with the meeting with the CECs and the CEO?
I think they're human beings. They have a heart and they can listen.
They came to demolish your houses at night. You still trust these people to have that conversation?
No, it's not that they came to demolish. They did demolish the houses at night. And to a certain extent, they had legal recourse to do that, because as you heard what the governor is saying is that those are their houses. And the court did say, yes, these are your houses. You can do what you want with them. You understand? Those houses don't belong to us. But you see, what you do is you appeal to the goodness in people instead of appealing to the badness. So I'm appealing to the governor to look at this.
You're hoping that you will appeal to governors and in particular Lydia's goodness.
Not really. No, they are the people who are in charge. Lydia is in charge of housing. This is the governor of Nairobi, right? So we are appealing to them. That's what we can only do. Now, according to what Senator Sifuna told us to do, that is Plan B. If they turn out to be people who cannot be trusted, then we shall move in that direction.
So, your advice was politely rejected, but Senator Wambua.
You know, Chair, from the account of the representative from Woodley, I think then we would be okay in this committee to conclude. From your account, as young people are saying these days, it is boiling well in Woodley, boiling nicely in Woodley. Because the only issue that you have raised is that you want this chief officer to accord you a meeting. And if that's accorded, Woodley, you are okay.
I didn't say that. I just said that we have received, threats of mass evictions coming directly from her office. And I would have thought it would have been a good idea to sit down and talk to her and ask her exactly what is going on. That is my take on the issue.
Okay, lastly, Chair,
now, in Woodley, okay, not everything is hanky-dory. Not everything is right. You understand? Like I have said, the systematic, the way they go about their public participation meetings is basically wanting. Because even right now you heard that there is, I think, lot 2, 3, 4, and 5, something that we don't know, we haven't heard about it. And I think they're putting the cart before the horse there. Because they should first come and discuss issues like those with the residents so that they know exactly what they're going to put in their EOI and their RFEs and so forth.
Chair, I will still insist that we have to make conclusions on certain issues. So in Woodley, not many issues, but there's the issue of compensation there. Some people are not being given their money. Let's deal facts, not theory. Have you, through the chair, have you seen the allotment letter, or have you received one?
No, I haven't received one because it was being given to only 42 residents who live in an area called Woodley Green.
Who don't even know which houses they are going to get, right?
They don't know.
Okay, lastly.
Because 50% of them haven't received the allotment letter.
Lastly, Chair, lastly, there is a place there that him and Senator Sifuna seem to know about that a lot of us don't know. Sifuna is referring them to some place. He's saying, he wants to appeal to the humanity of the people at the county government. But I get a feeling, Chair, that place could perhaps be the same place that the other residents in the other estates have a hesitation of going for whatever reason, that place only Senator Sifuna can
Sifuna,
tell us
for
where
the
that
record,
place
can you just
is.
help us know the place so that Senator Mbowe doesn't struggle?
Chair, just to be forthright, as a
Yes,
lawyer,
yes.
I told them that some of these disputes, for instance, the way we've guided our brothers from Lumumba and the other places, a dispute to do with ownership of land, vested correctly in the National Land Commission and even the Lands Court, Environment and Lands Court. So that advice I have given in good faith, both to Woodley and to the other residents to be able to sort out those matters. If a county government or even your landlord threatens you with eviction and you know you have paid rent and you have the evidence, you go to court, you'll get an order stopping it. That is the only place. Some, I wish I had the powers you people believe I have. I wish I was as powerful as you think I am, that I can grab the governor's collar and make him stop threatening you at night. And there is nothing wrong with going to court, because that is where the truth emerges. You state your case, and the county government states their case, and then a resolution is found. So please don't bombard the office of the Senator of Nairobi with matters that are not properly. They would be properly handled in another forum. And don't be shy. If there is an issue of cost, you know me. I am more than generous. I can be able to help you to seek that justice that you want in the courts.
Chair, may you just get a clarification from him
Governor,
about maybe the generosity should be just to pay the rent. Ask him about the arrears, including his own.
No, I think
Just as an example, Chair, if somebody has not paid rent
Point of order, Chair.
of 10,000 for 10 years, I'm not saying him, but he knows what I'm talking about. For many other people, not you personally, you're living in someone in Kibera is paying 1,000 or 2,000 and when they don't pay, their door is removed, their roof is removed. You're living in a proper house. You're talking about services that you want to receive, but someone has not paid rent for 10 years. Is it fair, Chair? That's why I keep saying, when you come to equity, come with clean hands. The services you're saying you need, you want water, you want your place cleaned, you want garbage collected, yet there are arrears of millions per house. What do we do? And maybe you can also advise us, when people get notices for rent over time and don't pay, do we sing for them? Do we do a poem? What do you do? The law is clear on such things. We're not talking about wrong entries of rent, where people know themselves. When you accumulate a rent of 1.4 million, and it's 10,000 per month, how many years are those? And it's not one person, not two people. So I'd love to hear specific cases, but the ones I know, and Sam knows the ones I know, and I will not mention names. It's just people who refuse to pay rent, Chair. Yet they deserve services.
Chair, point of order.
hello,
Chair,
Senator
Chair.
Sige, wait a minute, just switch off your mic, Sam. I'm going to get back to you.
Chair.
Senator Sige.
Thank you. As I was waiting with bated breath for the governor to give all of his submission at one go, but since he has submitted something now, can he share the things that he's saying that he knows and Sam knows, but us senators, we don't know? So I don't know if it's in order for us to continue while we're in the dark on this side. If he has specific cases of the 1.2 million in arrears, or 2 million, or 500,000, he should also prepare when he is responding to give all that and table it to this committee, rather than us talking in hypotheticals.
Okay. I mean, like, I think what Senator Sige said is very important, because we're not hanging out.
No, what?
Just a minute, I'll give you time, Sam. This Senate is not hanging out. This Senate is having a properly constituted meeting where, as we started this meeting, I told you, we want to make closures on some things. And you see, after everybody representing an estate has talked or presented an issue, you see I've tried to concretize what is it that you want, even where you cannot be able to clearly state that. So, Governor, I don't want you and Sam to have some issues that you're sorting their side that are very substantive that we don't know about. So please...
of course, there are many issues between a tenant and a landlord.
Yeah, but the ones that have been raised here, because what I'm getting from Sam, because I wanted to go to closures, Sam, what I'm getting from you, number one, unlike Lumumba, Ofafa, and the first presenter was Maringo, what I'm getting is that Woodley does not have a problem with the project, first of all. That's what I'm getting, and I might be getting it wrongly. He does not have a substantive project with the concession of the project. Number two, Woodley has gone to the extent of accepting the fate that this project will continue, right? But the eviction are not being done properly. Conversations around public participation, ongoing public participation, are not being done properly. But even the most sensitive one that I've gotten is that there is, in Woodley, a process has begun on allocation compensation. I got that. And that allocation compensation, some people have already received it, which I don't know from the governor's office or from the developer. I wanted to get to know that. But then there is 22 people who have also not gotten that that allocation of compensation. And I'm just pointing those issues so that when governor, when you will be responding, you respond to specifics. How do we deal with those 22? Where is this money coming from? And how do you do dignified evictions where there is need to do that, with particularly the case for Woodley? Unless I haven't captured what Sam has said, Senator Chute, I'll give you 1 minute and then I can go to the last estate.
Thank you very much, Chair. My question is very specific and it goes to the Chair, Woodley Estate. Let me say, first of all, I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful that the issue with Woodley and Nairobi County is moving on well, not like Buxton Estate. Then the question comes to, this is a development which has a plan, a drawing, and my question would be, there is something in that agreement that should indicate there is work progress. I want to know if the chair has a work progress and the units that are identified for the 43 members, if I'm not wrong, and also the completion period of that project, if it is in the contract and if he has a copy of that contract. That includes those 3 items.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I do not have concrete evidence of any allocation letter. I do not know, because I think what they were doing is that they were dealing directly with each individual tenant, and the 22 who signed are the ones who have these documents, and these documents were not given to the rest of us to peruse and see. So that, in terms of knowing exactly what was discussed between the developer, the county, and the tenant, the information we who are outside that 42 is very scanty.
Chair. Just a supplementary, kindly.
Senator Asige, please go
Yes,
ahead.
a supplementary to that, to the Chair for Woodley. I believe, Chair, that Sam is here to represent those 22 amongst others, right, in Woodley Estate. So would it be in order to request him to get that information if he doesn't have it, because he's representing them? I'm sure they know that he is sitting here in this meeting today. It would have been great if that documentation was with him now, but can that be received or sought from the 22 so that we can move with concrete data in front of us, Chair?
Governor, take a serious note on that.
But the MOU is in the documents you have, Chairman.
And you will respond.
It is in the documents.
It's part of the response that you'll make. I'm just telling you to take note on those concerns.
Chair, I wanted to give a clarification for the sake of the question that was asked by Senator Asige.
Okay.
For me, from where I sit, the problem between the Woodley residents and the county government is a communication problem. That, Governor, your officers are unavailable or unwilling to sit down with people in the estates and our voters whenever they raise issues. I'm holding here, Chair. There's a letter dated 28th April 2025 that was sent to me by Sam Kashago, claiming they are unable to meet with Lydia Mathia and Mbogo there. I remember giving Mbogo a call, and he assured me that he would have a conversation with them. This is not supposed to be how it is. Because everybody who serves in the county government of Nairobi is a public officer. You should be available to have conversations with the residents of Nairobi, especially surrounding such important matters. Personally, the dispute, as I understand it, Senator Crystal Asige, is that there needs to be a reconciliation on how much money Sam is claiming to have paid and what the county government claims to have received because of the various forms that have, of payments that have been there in the city over the years. Somebody claims I sent money to these life forms, I sent money to this account. When NMS came, there was even greater confusion as to who was receiving money where. Now, that reconciliation cannot happen in the Senate, for heaven's sake. That conciliation is not going to happen in Sifuna's office, which is why, Governor, your officers, I don't have the records, surely, of who has paid rent and who hasn't paid rent. Those records are in the county government. Let these officers make our lives a bit easier. I would like to go a month without receiving a letter from Woodley, please. Or at least if they write to me a letter, let it be inviting me to a bash or something like that. It can't be just the same things over and over. So for me, that is my understanding of the problem. And this is a challenge we will put to the governor. Instruct your officers to be willing to meet with the residents.
And Senator Sifuna, I know Governor is itchy. No. Governor.
How do you know how my skin is feeling?
Not to respond to this, what Senator said. But Governor, I think that the issue of communication, I talked about it. I think we saw when Agesa was presenting, we saw when John was presenting, the constant confrontation is lack of engagement. I call it larger engagement, but it's communication problem, and I think that this one can be solved.
I think even civic education, because rent reconciliations are done every single day. They're not done by the chief officer or by a CEC. Today, if you walk in, we have so many tenants. Rent reconciliation is done every day at our customer service center. It's a routine administrative thing. It's not for a meeting with the cabinet or with CECs, you know. But if it's a bulk, I've sent you a document because Senator Asige asked, what do I know that you don't know? I've sent you a schedule of all rent arrears in Woodley. Just peruse, and you will see from the top. You'll understand what is going on.
That's fine. That's in order, Chair.
But
if it's here, but also I would request the governor, if he's making a verbal submission, that he should refer to his own documents rather than saying, I know and he knows, so that we all can also know.
Like which one?
Anytime you submit, Governor, my request humbly is that you just point us to the specific volume, the page, so that we can also follow.
Yeah, but not everything I say is in a document. You know, we're having a discussion.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, can I just say one last thing?
Just one. Yes, Sam.
Now, I get the feeling that that the governor is just getting back at me for having raised this issue. Yes, because. I don't know, but anyway,
Governor,
I'll give you
some weight.
Yes.
This is a committee of the Senate.
Yes.
When someone is talking, give them a listening. I will give you time to respond because you have got that right. Please don't exchange.
But
please go ahead. And I also told you, Sam, you're talking through the chair.
Okay.
Don't address the governor.
Okay.
But go ahead. I'm listening.
Chair, a case in point, and this is why I brought this up, is that I thought I'd have the list, the governors here, but it's turned out anyway. Anyway, some time ago in 1992, our whole estate was sold. It was sold to non-tenants. And from 1992, we took up the fight to protect our estate. And the government did not come to our aid. The city council did not come to our aid. It culminated in 2019 with a ruling by Justice Okongo declaring any titles given in respect to Woodley Estate as being null and void. You understand? Now, what has happened is there were about 20-odd people who claimed they had bought the houses. So between that time, they were not paying rent because they said they had titles. These are the people who he is claiming have arrears of 3, not even 1 million. They have 4 million shillings in arrears. And now to come out and tell that person, pay that 4 million now or else I kick you out, you know, I think it's just not right. You understand? So there is a group of people, I think there are about 15 people, who accumulated because they thought they had bought the houses, they thought they owned the houses. And they even took the county to court on several occasions, but they lost out. Now these people have come to us as the leaders of the community to ask if that is why we were seeking some dialogue with the county. Can we sit down and do a structured, repayment method so that we could pay? Because where is somebody today going to get 4 million shillings from? And he has been a tenant for the past 40, 50 years. You understand? That is why I'm telling you, I was appealing to the governor and his people to sit down so that we can come up. I don't think anybody has refused to pay rent. Maybe there may be economic hardship or financial hardships which are creating this kind of situation. The next thing is that there were issues that we had in the 1990s, whereby we were asked by the court to deposit money in court, right? Like I personally I've had deposited 700,000 shillings in court, and that money is never reflected in my invoices that the county sends me. I would like that. I'd like that reconciliation done so I know how much I need to pay. Number two, Governor Sonko in 2018 gave the residents of Nairobi what you call a rent waiver. And this rent waiver was gazetted. After its gazettement, the county then took it up and even wrote a letter saying that we will be paying rents from 2019, 1st of May. You understand? Now, when we approached the county.
Point of order, Chair.
Yeah. Yes, Senator.
Chair, I think
Chute.
what the chair is saying, I totally agree with him. But what we need to do is he can talk to the county and reconcile those issues, because we cannot do anything now for him here. I think that's the best thing to do. Again, the issue. Sorry? Yeah, yes. Say it.
No, I actually think there's an emerging complexity here that is very important, and I think Senator Sifuna spoke to it slightly, but Senator Sige also brought it out very strongly, because as I said, I'm taking you back with a blue heart of closure on some issues. It is emerging that this issue of reconciliation is a very serious one.
Chair, you can direct both parties to sit.
Just a moment. As a Senate, these conversations were also part of it because we are already here. And there are documentations that will come from this Senate. This is why I'm saying that this issue of reconciliation is actually a substantive issue, is because you are seeing a number of reasons that are coming out with people not paying this rent. And remember, the reason why we're having this conversation, ultimately, is that when this regeneration happens, people must be given houses. So there will be questions even of what does the county government do with people who owe you 4 million? And then those houses, do they qualify for those houses? Do they pay first and then get them? So there's that complexity. So that I just want the governor to take note of that issue of reconciliation as a substantive issue of the Senate that must be addressed. That's all I wanted to say. So Sam, I want to cut you there so that I can have the last.
Can I just finish
because
off?
of time, I've given you so much time.
No, it's just 2 sentences so that you understand.
Okay, please, 1 second.
No, I mentioned to you the issue of the waiver, the rent waiver, which when you go to ask, you're thrown to the Senate. And we are told that the Senate discussed this and they asked the county, if you give this waiver, who is going to pay for this money? So they tell us that is why they give the issue of rent waiver a wide berth. But for us, we understand this is the gazetted rent waiver is a legal document. So that should be implemented.
Okay, fair enough. Sure. I want to leave that at that. Governor, just take note that that reconciliation with all those complaints that have been mentioned is an important one. I want to give the chair of
Chair, am I able to catch
new.
your eye? Maybe you're not seeing my mic or something. I don't know.
Senator, I'm also trying to just manage time as well. In as much as I think I've been very lenient. I want to give. I think it's a different.
I have a question to ask. Chair, I have a question to ask, if you allow me.
Please go ahead.
Please. You know, we have listened to Sam, and he says he represents the Woodley Development Initiative. Is that right? Do you know of Woodley Residents Association? Woodley Residents Association.
There is no Woodley Residents Association. There's Woodley Residents Welfare Society.
Okay. Yeah. What's the connection between the two?
Which one?
The Development Initiative.
Oh, that. The Woodley Residents Welfare Society was established in 1994. And from 1996 up to 2004, I was a chairman. I've been running Woodley Community Affairs for 28 years. And
in short, do the two associations exist? Do they do the same thing?
I don't know. No,
they don't.
They don't do the same thing. One is anti-redevelopment. They clamor to buy the houses. They want to buy the houses that they're living in.
Right. And the other one?
We support the redevelopment.
Okay. That's okay.
That's okay. I do know that the new Pumwani estate, that's the next, right? I don't think from the briefing that I have, there is a regeneration that is going on. I don't think so. But because they're in the Senate, this is their house, I'll give the chairperson, perhaps just to highlight on some of the issues that you might also be having, related or unrelated, and then you'll allow me to give the governor opportunity to. There's a lot of things that have been raised. Then the governor, I'll give you the opportunity, governor, to respond to some of the issues that you might see fit, and then we as Senate will give you some resolutions to take home. Which estate are you from?
From Jericho, but we have one very important question to the governor that has not been mentioned.
I'm coming back to you. Let me just finish with
Thank you.
With New Pumwani. New Pumwani, I'm going to give you half the time. Just 5 minutes, kindly.
Okay, thank you so much. And I beg for your indulgence to the esteemed House Committee and the Executive.
Just a minute. Sam, kindly switch off your mic.
Oh, sorry. Oh, thank you. Now, in respect to, Jackson Lee Muturi Kimani, the chairperson, California State Residence Committee, New Pumwani Estate. In respect to New Pumwani Estate, it's more so to do with the petition that we raised in the year 2023 to the attention and to the office of the executive, that is the governor. Now, it's best that we understand why and how we were informed to take that course of action. The issue of redevelopment, as rightly pointed out, started in the year 2018. And New Pumwani Estate was among the estates that were earmarked back then. That was under Rail Plan Consultants. We underwent a very comprehensive 2-year consultative forum with the Rail Plan Consultants. That was a public participation. And there is a document, a very voluminous document that was published in the year 2019 with a report and the findings and the conclusion in respect to New Pumwani Estate. If you'll give me time, I'll just read an excerpt of, it is a final plan report, Urban Renewal Plan, Volume 2, that was submitted in the 19th of September 2019. In respect to New Pumwani Estate, the proposed land use for New Pumwani largely retains the existing land use structure. The housing developments in New Pumwani are being retained. The proposed redevelopment approach is thus renovation. And we were comfortable with that findings, and we were comfortable with that conclusion, and there was no issue. But we were taken aback when in the year 2021, we just came across an advert published by the then Nairobi Metropolitan Services indicating that California is part of the urban regeneration program, and we are scheduled to have a public participation meeting on the 17th of February 2021, Pumwani Social Hall. We were taken aback because there is a document which is freely downloadable, which was even tabled in the Nairobi City County Assembly back then. So we said, no harm, let us go and find out what is going on. There was no public participation. We were just informed. Go prepare yourself, we are coming to redevelop. So the course of action we took at that time, we wrote several objection letters to several ministries, and I think I was able to submit most of those copies to this esteemed house back then when we were having this session. Now, it was like bulldozing this agenda. And the questions we are asking, what was the purpose and intention of having a comprehensive 2-year public participation forum, not just engaging the entity, but a consultant? And I'm sure a consultant is not just penny mbili. Those people are paid a lot of money. Now, out of these fears, whereby we have evidence that they are attempting to redevelop California, but we don't have any evidence that New Pumwani Estate California has been removed from that listing up to date. I'm surprised that during the presentation of the clerk, they stated that they have a document stating that California is no longer under redevelopment, but we, as the affected persons, we don't have such a documentation. So that is what informed us to draft the petition.
Very, very well said.
Yes.
There are two issues
yes.
that I'm seeing, but I understand us perhaps to chime in on what you've just raised. Mm-hmm. But there are two issues that I've heard from you. Number one is whether or not you are part of the program.
Yes.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Governor, you can take note of that. But I also wanted to know whether or not you want to be part of the program. Those are two different things. As an association, you want to establish whether or not you're part of the program, and if so, where are you standing in this understanding? Is it a future engagement and all that? Governor can answer that. But one of the issues that have come from a number of associations, as you have had here, is also the hesitance of being in part of the program. So from your own view, what is the status report from your residents? Do they feel like this is something that they welcome, but they would want to engage more? Or is there a problem even with the conception of the regeneration program?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Now, to begin with, we are skeptical. We have our own fears, and we raised our own fears, because we asked ourselves, New Pumwani Estate, unlike other estates, it has its own challenges. That is the proximity to that military installation, and those were technicalities that knocked out New Pumwani Estate from the word go. So we said we cannot sanctify an illegality, because public participation are now used to sanctify illegalities in this Republic of Kenya. So we said we are not going to be part of it. We are not comfortable with this program. The way it is being implemented, you have, all these estates have raised issues, and there are issues which have weighty concerns, and we asked ourselves, if a consultant certified that these buildings, they're fairly modern. Number two, these buildings, according to the architect, they say that optimum land use has been done to the maximum. Number three, if it in terms of the structure, they're very sound. more than any other estate that Nairobi City County government owns in in this Nairobi City County. Number 4, and they are very, the report said fairly modern, which means they all require renovation. Recently in the year 2017, they were repainted. Just that one factor of being repainted, they almost looked new. So that's why we said, why don't we then own? We don't want to own them for free because we don't want to affect, there's that, the financial aspect of the financial bill with the county government. If you do something that will be contrary to, which will affect their budget making processes, it will be negative to us. So we said, why don't we now then convert the existing rent? We don't backdate. Existing rent, we start a new chapter, convert it into mortgage, convert it into TPS. They have the enabling legislation because in New Pumwani Estate, we have TPS flats, which are intertwined.
So you want to do that to own in the current status or to own in the development?
No, we own in the current status as they are.
I think your point is home. I want to give senators, if perhaps they have got concern on that. But Governor, there is an issue there of value for money that Kimani, right, is trying to bring out, that there is feasibility studies that have been done. You know, there is a contractor who was engaged. There was 2 years public participation on the renewal of the new Pumwani estate. So at what point did it get expunged from this program? And what then becomes of the costs that were incurred in those processes? I think that's a substantive question that you can respond to at that time. What's the name again? Duncan, yes, from Ofafa, right?
Yes, from Ofafa, Jericho.
Ofafa, Jericho.
Yes, and...
just literally under 1 minute, because you're pressed of time and I've given you so much time as an estate.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, kindly, please. Chair,
who is talking?
Jackson Kimani. I just had one more issue to raise, please, kindly. I beg for your indulgence.
Final, I'm really pressed of time.
Yes, I understand.
But I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in respect to now the final report that your clerk presented when she was doing the update status, in her records, she has a document which she said is not signed. We went for a meeting. There are no minutes of the meeting. There are no signs. There's no attendance sheet, which says that New Pumwani Estate is no longer in the redevelopment. But unfortunately, with me here physically, I have a document that states otherwise. So I'm asking, so
what is the otherwise? What is the otherwise? Just state it. What is the otherwise? Just state it.
There is a document that was drafted by County Secretary and Head of County Public Service, which states that urban renewal will henceforth schedule engagement between the county officers and yourselves through a public participation forum on the redevelopment project, as well as development of projects proposals for request of proposals to eligible and qualified developers. This was done 3rd of September 2024.
Well taken. The committee takes note, and I hope the governor also takes note. Duncan?
Thank you, Chair. My question is to the governor, because at the last session on the 18th of March, he's on the query as to whether they had title to the land in Ofafa, Jericho, Lumumba, and Maringo. He said they didn't have, but they have a reservation. Now it has been presented to you that we have a dispute with the NCCG at the NLC. So the question comes up, how did they get a reservation that the NLC doesn't know about, yet it is the reserving body as per the Constitution?
Okay.
Then, just to correct Madam CCO, she's saying contractors are the ones who will enable public participation. I want to correct her and inform her to check Section 114 of the County Government Act that expressly states public participation is mandatory for any development of nationally significant value. Any. So it is not for contractors to bring about public participation. It is for them who have the project in hand as the county government to bring the public participation to the people.
Very well.
And just one more.
I gave you 1 minute, remember, because
Please, I
you know
understand.
that all the issues that you're raising had actually been raised.
Just one more.
And I noted them from your chair. So they were actually all conversed. In fact, if I'm fair, I should actually be giving that a minute to a lady.
Chair, let me just give him the final one. Please be very brief.
Yeah, very brief.
Need answers.
Very brief. There is, because of lack of public participation, we don't have MOUs, we don't have anything. Okay. So we must start from there.
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you.
I think it would be very unfair for these residential representatives to come here and the amazing ladies who have come with you, and I've just listened to all your leadership being men. I want to give an opportunity to any lady who is among the residentials who might have a word or two or a concern to raise before I come back to the governor. I really want to hear Ama Awana. Yes, I really want at least one voice to be represented. But at least I gave the opportunity.
Chair.
Oh, just a moment. Who is that saying chair? Oh, please, go ahead.
Okay, the last time we had a meeting with the county, with the...
You say your name and where?
Sorry, my name is Kezia Kihara. I'm treasurer at the Marigo Tenants Association. So the last time that we had a meeting with the county planning committee, it was resolved that they put forward a name for Varoya, and as we give, but to resolve the issue of ownership, but to date they haven't given the name. Also, Chair, we would like the county or the governor to tell us or to put it clear. Like in Maringo, there was a time they came, Kiboi came and he posted letters on our walls, on our windows, that people to come and present documents to City Hall. And a few people came, and those are the 74. So we are wondering, is that okay, they called it a public participation. Is that the evaluation of the tenants? Or how are they going to give, okay, they are saying they are going to give us the house or the units. So is that the list that they are going to use? Or so they have the list of the 310 people that that we own the 310 houses in Maringo.
Thank you so much, Kezia, and thank you for representing the voices that really... I'm going to give the governor opportunity to respond to these issues. Governor, try and make it as concise as you can. I know there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of issues that have been raised.
There are many issues.
But I'm giving you the time, and then we'll see how we go from here.
Chair, I've listened to issues for quite a number. They want answers, and it will be wrong for me not to answer what has been raised. Chair, let me start by thanking the residents' associations and the representatives of tenants for this discussion. It's a very important discussion because, Chair, the county government has a mandate to execute what is within its functions in the 4th schedule. And the county government will execute its mandate. So long as it is lawful, the county government will execute its mandate to the people of Nairobi. The first thing I must say, Chair, county property, because I've had somebody saying the issue of trustees, that we only trustees, it is true. The county government holds all the property in trust for the people. Not the people of Jericho or the people of Woodley, but the people of Nairobi in their entirety. If the people of Nairobi, through their delegated responsibility, want Woodley to become a stadium, all of it, it will become a stadium. Or if they want a change, if there's a different plan, the people of Nairobi, if there are 2,000 more people who want to come and live where there are 20, and it is legal, we have the power to execute that. That we must get very clearly, Chairman. Number two, I've had many questions, and I don't know where Gashago has gone to. He's here. About not having seen me. When we invite you for meetings and you don't come, and it's the same with many of them. I don't know where else we need to be seen, because we've invited these chairs for meetings. I personally invited Jericho for a meeting on the 7th of April to meet me, not anybody else. If I read you the contents of that letter, just open it. The content of the letter is for a public participation forum and engagement with Hechi, the governor. That was the letter we wrote. But Chair, we have a problem where the leadership of these associations do not want us to associate with the people directly. And you need to know that we can associate with the people directly and also through you. There are tenants. A landlord can engage with the tenant at any time. Chair, that meeting was turned into chaos. The people in this room who came to stop it, there were placards, they brought goons. We just kept quiet. We have sent another letter because, Chair, what they're going to do is to prevent their residents from actually getting what the government is offering. What we're doing is an offer. You know, we're offering that this is what we're going to redevelop this place. You should, partner with us, take this amount of money, go, and then once you're out, when you come back, you'll receive your property. It is not mandatory for us to do that, Chair. It is not at all. If you look at the national projects, people are being given a small amount and with no guarantee at all. You're being given a guarantee and a title and a house, Chair. So I think that magnanimity, or maybe that's the wrong word, but the goodwill being extended by the county government must be responded to, Chair. Chair, the letter was dated 3rd April. To Jericho Estate tenants, each tenant got this letter. As you may be aware, the county intends to redevelop most of the old estates, etc. The governor recognizes your very important role in this process as key stakeholders and invites all tenants of Jericho Estate for public engagement for a Monday, 7th April, Charter Hall. That's an invite. How else, when they keep saying no public participation, how else do you want public participation? When you're invited by the governor himself and you don't attend. Yeah? When Agashago, when invited Woody residents, you didn't come. Yourself. I don't know how else. Sorry, let me not do that. But
please, I had cautioned that we don't exchange, and Governor, you know the rules of the House.
So, Chair, there are many instances where we've invited the chairs for engagement, but you've heard very well what one of the chairs has said, that when these committees were formed, the county or NMS then was supposed to engage only through that committee. Chair, that is completely wrong. Even in terms of us as representatives, Article 1 says that the people are the sovereign power is with the people and they can exercise it directly. You cannot then be a group of people blocking us from our tenants and from the residents.
Governor, can I just find out, why not have that meeting in Jericho?
Because people who are not residents of Jericho will come.
I thought the residents are there. If you want to meet directly with them, you go there.
You cannot have a controlled meeting there. And I would ask you to try.
You are a government. I have had a meeting there. I went there when they had kicked out the officers, and we actually had a meeting.
Chair, we can meet them wherever. You see, they were kicked out. In fact, when the chair was speaking, he said, we did not allow anybody else from the county government to speak. Chair, City Hall is there also. We can meet them anywhere, Chair, that we deem fit to.
No, I was just following your train of thought about direct engagement. And this is my advice.
You
are a government. You have kicked out people from markets. You have enforcement officers. You can have a meeting in Jericho.
I hear your suggestion, but it's a decision that we have to make.
Okay, it's a recommendation.
It's a recommendation.
I'll be available for that meeting.
We can
invite me.
And Chair, we can find 10,000 people there. It is okay. We will engage. We're also politicians, Chair. We're a government, but we're also very astute politicians in this city. And Chair, for as many people as you hear representing here saying they're not for a project, you have an equal number saying they're for the projects. You have an equal number as those you've called. In fact, if we do another meeting next Tuesday, I can get representatives from the same estates to come and say that they want it to start. So at what point, Chair, does public participation stop and does the government execute? Because if you wait for 100% concurrence on any project, you will not do it. You will never do it. That is just generally. If we waited for 100% concurrence on Woodley, we would not have moved. In fact, if there was a need for concurrence in 1949 for these estates to be developed, they would not have been developed. Because there were people there who didn't want it. The people of Nairobi are 7 million people. If they feel a need for housing, 1,000 people in one estate or 200 people will not stop it. So long as it is being done lawfully, Chair, we will go on. Let me go to the specific questions. New Pumwani, I've had the petition on the issue. I just want people to understand, when you're a tenant and the courts have set a precedent, the court has ruled on it, you are a tenant, the landlord can do whatever they deem fit with that property, provided he's doing it within the law. When you talk about county assembly approval, it's the county assembly that has approved all these projects in the CIDP. The county integrated development plan has listed these projects. So the county assembly has approved. Once you approve a budget in Senate, for instance, does the CS come for each and every single project to seek a motion to approve? No. But you've approved the medium-term economic framework, you've approved the budget policy statement, projects are inside the BPS, and that is how it was approved. And they've said they've had engagements even with NMS, even before NMS. So I just want to disabuse the notion of no public participation. The meetings, and there's a schedule here you have in your folders of 25th, is it 25th February or 25th what? May 2023. It was a public advertisement. It was on all the papers. It was posted in all these estates. If you choose not to attend, you cannot say there was no public participation. And in those public participation meetings, we have the video. We can share video. We can share. Because we have our media team that records those meetings. Even the press comes to those meetings. So you cannot say that public participation will only happen the way you feel it should happen as an individual. The people were very happy. In fact, if you look at our report, we have verbatim what people said word for word in those meetings. The questions that people, please allow.
Just 1 minute, Governor.
Senator Sifuna.
No, just a minute.
May I just request that we let the governor present?
Just a minute, Chair. Because, Governor, we had been guided that we need to follow the submissions with the documentation you have given us. In fact, I want to refer you to your report, that public participation report. And we had covered this last time, and you had promised to make some corrective measures. I don't want you to feel like I'm interrupting your flow of thought. If you look at the public participation report submitted by yourself in Lumumba, for instance, it is at page 31 of your report on public participation. It is clear what the residents told you, and they say, your own remarks there say the objective for this public participation was not met. And if I can run your memory a bit, in the last meeting we had, you made a commitment yourself that you will engage these residents of Lumumba, the residents of Jericho,
yes,
as many times as possible.
Yeah.
So is it really fair from that perspective of your own report to say that there has been effective public participation, at least in Lumumba?
But Chair, I've just explained that I then further invited them for a meeting. Part of what could have caused it not to be effective would have been the venue. But I invited them to come to Charter Hall, and residents came. But they were being stopped by the leadership. They came, but they were being blocked. They were being threatened. Those who would sign the register were being threatened. Chair, let me just tell you, under no uncertain terms, will anyone come in between us and the residents of the city? No one. No one. No individual. No individual. Just because you've been elected as a chair, you're holding that position also in trust for these people. The people who've come directly to us saying, please, we want to sign this thing. This thing has taken too long. Our people, I don't want another deal behind, I don't know what it is. But no individual, you cannot create, I don't want to call it brokers, but you cannot create another layer between us and our tenants. The tenants pay rent directly. There's no tenancy agreement that recognizes an association. These associations were formed by the county to make things easier, not things more difficult. You know? So, Chair, that one, under no uncertain terms will we do that. So let me go to specifics. New Pumwani, and that's what I was explaining, and the senator came in. Some of it is TPS, tenant purchase scheme. The county government is your landlord. The courts have pronounced themselves, Bonagashago, that the county government can make a determination based on its plan where it sees this thing going. You know, that in the next 20 years, possibly, we need to bring down even those houses and build a hospital. If that is a decision we make through our cabinet, through our whatever processes in the county government, it will be made. People should not be entitled to these houses. Even if I was living in that, if I'm living in a house today that is not mine, it has a landlord, I will listen to what he's saying, so long as I have my rights under the tenancy agreement, whether it is months in lieu of notice, whether it is Now, at least since it's public, there's public participation, but I don't think my landlord will give me public participation or any issue. But let us understand that. I know people are emotive about these houses. You've stayed there for long. Your relatives have been there for long, but please understand what the law is. There is no obligation by the county or by the law. There is no obligation for you to remain staying there or for those houses to remain as they are. They cannot. And it will be a squandered opportunity for us where we're seeing a place where we can increase housing, we can redevelop the place, not to do it. So, Chair, that is our position as a county government. That has been the position during NMS. That has been the position even before when urban renewal was started by the city council, the first county government of Governor Kidero, the second county government of Governor Sonko, where the first ones are now to implement, in addition to the two estates that already started, Jivanji and Park, and we will do it, Chair. Number two, I like the question that Senator Wambua, was it Chute, asked about the associations. Some estates have many formations. There's Woodley Residence, there's Woodley Welfare. Bwana Kashago has been there for a long time. You know, he's 28 years is not a short time, and he has a lot of this history. But always know that for as many as centers you'll get dissenters. If as leaders or those of us in executive position would wait for 100% concurrence to execute anything, we would never move, Chair. We would never. The issue of waiver, the rent waiver that was issued at that time in 2019 was actually deemed to be an illegal waiver. There's a city waivers, there's a waivers procedures law. The governor cannot issue a waiver. Even the ones you see where we have our photos on TV and rent, whatnot, it says it's actually the CC Finance who is allowed to issue a waiver. And the waiver is for a period and for a reason. So and that one was really targeted at market stalls, you know, the stalls like Kenyatta Market, that the ones which are beyond the TPS stalls. That's what it was targeted at. But what I know, there was an issue with that waiver that was then issued by the governor and the gazettement. Something being gazetted doesn't make it legal. A gazette notice is just a publication. You can gazette something that is illegal. But a gazette notice is a form of informing the public. Yes, gazettement does not give things the force of law. I have been in this house for 10 years. I know what I'm talking about. A sessional paper does not confer ownership. A gazette notice cannot confer ownership. There are only a number of ways through which you get ownership of land in this country. It cannot be an MOU. An MOU does not give you land. It doesn't. There are specific ways. Look at the land laws. Look at the laws of this country that give you land. The title deed of Jericho, Lumumba and Maringo, we have the title deed of 290 acres. What I said we were processing is a reservation for the specific housing projects in the specific areas. So that your JV vehicle, your joint venture vehicle between us and the developer, then holds that particular reservation, or for lack of a better word, let's even say a specific title. NLC has moved into the reservation space because now we're the lessor and the lessee. We can't lease land to ourselves. You know, you cannot be the lessor and the lessee. So that is why, and it'd be good for you to speak to NLC. Also, please know, NLC does not own any land. It does not own land. NLC manages land on behalf of the county government and the national government. But they, within themselves, do not own land. They cannot give anyone an allotment of county land if the county has not approved so. That is in Article 62 of our Constitution. That is in Chapter 5. That is in our Land Act. Even the Physical Land Use Planning Act. Please know that. So even when you go, even when people, the leases expire, and I'll give you an example, national government leases that have expired in Nairobi, national government institutions, and they go for renewal, the NLC has to write to the county government to see if the county government accepts or rejects or has another plan for that land. So I think let us be very clear about that, and that is why the courts have pronounced themselves repeatedly. Now on Woodley, because I'm starting backwards, coming forward. There was a meeting on the 26th of February 2024, but you have told me you were under the weather, pole sana. But I took members of Woodley through the project. I showed them the diagrams, the architectural. I explained to them what this program is about. We sat with them, 20 of them signed on out of the 43. And those who signed on were then given compensation because the rest took us to court. When they took us to court, you have taken us to court, meaning you have not accepted what we are offering you. So we could not engage. The case was dismissed with costs, by the way. In fact, that was unprecedented. I've never seen a case where the public have gone to court and it's dismissed with costs. They were supposed to pay the county. Well, we started engaging again, and because I gave instructions that it is not fair, even if they've gone to court. Going to court is your right as a Kenyan. The same way coming to the Senate is your right as a Kenyan. I said, yes, they've gone to court, but still, since the case has been dismissed and they've lost it, if those who are willing to come, please come, let them come, and we give them the exact same offer of the 900,000 shillings, which is unheard of in our history. I don't know if you have any example of a tenant giving you 900,000 to go pay rent elsewhere and come back and you get a house for free and your allotment letter. They went to the Court of Appeal. So for those 20 residents, we were waiting for them. We will not engage them on the compensation and the allotment if they're still in court, because that then jeopardizes our position. It jeopardizes our position as of now. But we are willing, if they come out of that process, it's their right. It's their right. You know, it's their right. On lot 2 and lot 3, I think...
Is that the 22 that were mentioned?
The ones who didn't, yeah, the 22 that...
The 22 that I mentioned?
That I mentioned.
Okay.
If any of them wishes to get out of it individually, they'll come and we'll process their payment. And we'll give them the allotment letter. The chief officer has given me an example of the allotment letter. I hope you can give the clerk so that it can be distributed. The second thing about Woodley, the issue of rents. I don't think we should belabor this. Rent reconciliation, Chair, is a daily process. I would invite you to just come one day visit City Hall Annex, our customer service center. There is an entire desk just on rent reconciliations. Somebody from Umoja, they have an issue with when they paid or it didn't go to this account, it didn't happen well. Somebody from Kariobangi. We have so many houses, as a county government. There's always an issue. So it's a normal thing. It is not done wholesale because there is no wholesale tenant. Our tenancy agreement legally is between an individual and the county government. So that is done regularly. But I want to implore upon our people, because if you look, for instance, at Woodley, the kind of houses you're talking about, they're not like Jericho and Maringo and the rest. Woodley is a house on an acre even, half an acre, with plush compound. I know because I have lived there, Chair. A rent of 10,000 shillings. If you don't pay rent of 10,000 shillings in such a property, 17,000, that's a big difference. For half an acre in Nairobi, in that part of Nairobi, rent is minimum 150,000 shillings. The same services we want as Nairobians, they're not paid for by stones or by mangoes. They're paid for by this amount of money. Everybody should carry their part of, everyone should carry their weight. And it's very unfair, because you have this middle-class citizens, so to speak, in Woodley, whom I have even relatives who live there, but who do not pay for 170 months. Just look at the schedule I've sent you. The highest is 1.8 million. It's not 4 million. There's no 4 million owing. The highest is 1.8. That period under when there was an issue in court, we removed that period. The highest is 1.8 million. You refuse to pay rent. Somebody today in Mathare has no door in the house because they have not paid 2,000 shillings. In some places, they even remove the roof, or they lock you out when you're late by just one day. So we're saying there are potholes in the city. We're saying there's garbage, but we don't want to pay. Really, we cannot have your cake and eat it. We cannot have our cake and eat it. And so what is the procedure? For everyone in our county houses who is not paying rent, you will be evicted. That is what will happen. You will be evicted for others to come and give value to the people of Nairobi. Those houses don't belong to me. They belong to all the people of Nairobi who want services from those houses. And they do not belong to you. They belong to the people of Nairobi. We are holding them in trust for them. So yes, there's been, first notice was given earlier in the year. Another notice has been given. There's a statutory time period, and I think maybe the place the Senator was referring to was the Tax Appeals Tribunal or somewhere. There are entities that can also come and negotiate on your behalf, but kila mtu alipe pande yake, so that we can develop our city together, because we need to develop our city. In fact, is it this morning or yesterday on radio, I had Fred Obachi Machoka saying he saw a lot of trash near Camp Toyo, garbage. To fuel those trucks, to collect that trash, is the rent you pay. There's no other source of money. Even equitable share comes from taxes. On the issue of Jericho, Chair, it is the county's position, no matter how many meetings we have, that land belongs to the county. We have the title deed for that land. There has been the story that there was an agreement with Israelis that after so many number of years, that the land reverts to the people or the houses reverts to the people. You, as a Senate, have repeatedly asked for that documentation. I have asked for it when I was Senator here. The documentation has never been availed. There is no such agreement. Because it would be a condition in the title. The title deed of Ofafa Jericho and Lumumba and Maringo is a 1954 title. It's a 1954 title deed. The 1954 title deed on the second page would have had conditions that this land then reverts after 27 years without any need for surrender thereof. That's how it's written in titles. There is no such thing. You know, I believe there was. They will tell you we met them. When I was senator and when I was campaigning as well, they say 22, 25, 27. I know that story. But there is no documentation. However, Chair, you have the powers as the chairman of this committee to ask the Israelis through their mission if they have any documentation to bring to you about what that arrangement was. Because me, I've looked in City Hall. You know, when they say there's something I should have availed that I'm not availed, you cannot avail a document that does not exist. It is simply not there. There was no such arrangement. Because if that happened, the land, the 290 acres, would have been transferred automatically at the expiry of that period, Chair. So, when you really think about it, my people of Jericho, and the residents, and I hope the residents are hearing directly, the thing that you want to secure is your right to a house. I have said not just Jericho, Woodley, Ziwani, Maringo, Kariobangi South, I will give you a house. What else do you want? I don't understand, Chair. If you've gotten that unit, in fact, let the negotiation be, is it a 2-bedroom like one I have? Is it a 3-bedroom? Is it, you know, what kind of unit is it? I admit, my people can do better in terms of, you know, I tell them communicate also with pictures and whatnot, but when the leadership are creating a hostile environment, I will not send my people to in harm's way. I will not do that. That is me. I can go as a politician alone, you know. But why would I send? Look at how Lydia looks like, and Cecilia. These are mothers. I know somebody is going to bring people to beat them. Why would I send them to harm's way? I will not do that. It will be very irresponsible of me to do that. But that is our position as a county
Point
government.
of order, Governor.
Yeah.
It is not fair to cast those aspersions to your residents.
It's not an aspersion.
No. I don't think that it is fair to level that accusation that the residents will visit violence on the ladies there.
Just ask
and,
about the meeting.
If they are violent, I don't think that is gender-based violence, even if it was you.
Ask about the meeting on 7th of April, Senator. You'll get.
No, I was there myself.
No, 7th of April, you're not there.
The
7th
one
of April, 2025.
The one in 2023, the one that happened at the social.
I'm saying Charter Hall. 2 a few weeks ago. And I will send you, do you have some videos of that meeting? I'll just send to you, and you can see. And you'll see people who you can recognize here.
Which is why I say, the chair, I hope the governor can get this. You and me can go and be beaten in Lumumba.
Course.
Let's go. That's why I'm saying, let's have this meeting there in Lumumba.
Chair, let me proceed. Lumumba, again, let me not go into the detail of the meetings that were had. I think 15th February 2021, NMS. And remember, by the way, all these governments that have engaged with you, it's the same government. Government exists in perpetuity, you know. So whether it was NMS or the city council before ETC, public participation doesn't start afresh in 2022 with a new administration. It is the same. But we will not do it in perpetuity. We have to move. We have to deliver. You know, and Chair, it cannot go on forever. That is the point I was making. The LR number is 2097141. That is the LR number of the 290 acres. It exists. And Chair will just please share also the copy of the title for them to distribute it. The reservation is for the specific estate. The mother title is to 90 acres. That mother title includes markets, it includes dispensaries, it includes health centers. We're not doing urban generation on health centers. But the title that you create then that reservation for Ofafa Maringo, for instance, the number of acres that are there, is what then you will use to create a joint, a JV vehicle with your developer. And that JV is based on that title. And so the value of that title or reservation, whatever you make, as it were, on top of, plus the value of the houses that will be built, is what gives you the JV value. And then our contribution then is our percentage as a county of all of that. I have had the recommendations about off-site infrastructure. Let's look at how we can do it, because also, you know, the developer is trying to make a profit. Let's see what is workable. But it's a very good point, because, you know, there's of course we do the TIA, the traffic impact assessment, but you might need to widen a certain connection to the main road. You might need to do a bigger connection to the trunk sewer, which we are doing in the agreement. The major infrastructure is for the county to do. But many of these developers are willing. I told you I met with the Kenya Property Developers Association together with the Chinese Developers Association. I told them, look, the roads that I am now recarpeting in Hurlingham, in Chania Road, Kindaruma, all of that have been spoiled by your trucks bringing premix concrete and chuma. You will need to, first of all, I will not give you an occupational certificate until you restore, but even during the period of construction, you must maintain it, expand, and it was, you know, you can think that you're asking a question that is hard and people will refuse. They were very quick and happy to say, yes, we've been wanting to do this, but no one has engaged us in that way. So in the same way, we can see with the developers what else to add. As I said, restoring also, and the heritage of the old estates, the old estates, some of the things that happened in these estates many years ago, historically, for our children to remember what they were. Jericho, the only thing that is holding us right now is a court case that is soon to be determined. And in that case, it will also be a good forum for all the facts and documentation to be brought. You know, Chair, sometimes I wonder, what nefarious intention would anyone imagine that I have against my residents? What wrong thing do I want to do? I don't want those houses. I have committed you get a house. These houses are being built in 24 months or less. If you don't get it, there's an election coming where you'll say, I lied. Why should I set myself up for failure? We're doing these things genuinely because we're seeing where the city is going. I've explained that we have a 10.5 million population in the next 25 years in this city. We must rethink a lot of our housing. And I would love to engage a lot of the resident associations in Nairobi, not just these ones that are in our in our urban renewal, but all of them to be part of what we're going to start the 2050 process. So that everyone can say, okay, in 25 years, I think the city should look like this. This is how BRT should be done. And Chair, you asked about that infrastructure. We're pushing the BRT, we're pushing the metro. You've seen some of the agreements signed in China supposed to help us in the city with traffic management. There are 5 lines that we're pushing. But all these things must be done together. I know there's always been, in fact, when my immediate neighbor started talking about the mistrust, he said mistrust from NMS time, from before. And that tension between government and the people has always been there, until people start seeing the fruits. Then they will trust you. But until you give some faith for something to start, nothing will ever be done. So I understand. And possibly once bitten, twice shy. And also there's politics, remember. There are people who are politically motivated that these things are not done now. And they will bring all manner of fear-mongering to you. But as a governor, I will not shuck off my responsibility to do what I know is right and what has gone through the process. I think I will leave it at that, Chair. I don't know if there was something glaring that I could have left out.
I think
approval, I've said CIDP was all approved at the county assembly. The sessional papers, the MOUs, even reports do not confer land ownership. You have lawyers in this, you have legal counsel in your committee. Land ownership is not conferred upon in that manner. Yes, President Moi Kibaki was MP for Bahati, and he could have, it's possible that that was what he wanted to do. It reached third reading. I think the senator for Nairobi has explained to you what happens with the law. But you see, now not only will you get a house, but more Kenyans will also be able to get a house. You're, I think, less than 1,000 residents in Bahati. We're possibly going to get 5,000, whatever number. I'll get the specific numbers. So you will get that privilege of owning a house. But think about the other Kenyans. There's somebody right now who is sharing a room with his wife and his children. The wife has to go shower outside in a line and the other men waiting, living in indignity, who is going also to get a chance to get a house. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, you might be 42 residents of that Lot 1 of Woodley. You have a right. But so do the other 1,900. They are also Nairobians. So let us not be exclusive, that this is ours, even the other people have parents, and they're Kenyans as you. So, Chairman, let me leave it at that. We're ready to continue engaging, but engagement will not stop us from doing our work as a county government.
Thank you, Governor. That was quite comprehensive. Senators, I'll give you perhaps a minute each if there is any responses that the governor gave that perhaps you want clarification on, or otherwise just a comment. Before perhaps I give just an observation and then.
And Chair, even as I come in, just for context, because I gave you just one example. The first phase we are doing is 3,392 units. Count all those families. This phase 2 that we're discussing, 22,238 families. 22,000. You know the indignity of the squalor we have in housing. That's phase 2. Phase 3, 37,200 families are going to get dignified. That's just the broader context. So yes, the ones who are there are very important to me, which is why we made the commitment, and they're getting that unit of theirs free of charge, but so are these others. So are the 62,830 other families who are in Nairobi today as we speak, Chair.
Thank you, Governor. Yes.
Yes, Chair.
Senator Sige.
Thank you so much, Chair. I want to appreciate the Governor for his responses. I think that what he's actually said is true. One point he made is that there was some public participation that happened even before his term, and others that came after or during his term now. And so for me, Chair, there is still something that's unreconciled, which is on one side, we have the residents who say or dispute some of these minutes because, and also cite that they're not even been signed, saying that they are not perhaps true, or they don't happen in that way according to the minutes because they have not been signed either. But on the other side, the county government say that they went ahead. So the part that has not been reconciled for me, Chair, from the responses so far, from the discussions so far, is what happens from now, because there are minutes of purported or submitted public participations, but those who are supposed to be in those public participations say that they were not there and they did not happen. So how do we determine the validity of those documentation as the committee?
Thank you. Again, I was concentrating on this side, and I've just realized that the vice chair of the committee and the deputy whip of the Senate has just entered the room and is a member of this committee. May I ask you, Senator, to perhaps put yourself on record?
Thank you, Chair, and sorry for coming late. My name is Lelegwe, Senator for Samburu County, the Vice Chair of this committee.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank all of us for this.
Just before you do.
Okay, Senator Sifuna.
Now, listening to the governor, because I think the bulk of the problems here with these three estates in Maringo, Jericho, and Lumumba, and the governor might be giving the impression that the leadership of these associations is somehow blocking direct access to the residents, and that there are people who, support the project, and that you say that it is possible that it is majority. Now, the problem we have with that, Governor, is your own documents. your own documents on public participation, in Maringo, you will see your own words. Most felt not fully included in the project. That's for Maringo. You come to Lumumba, residents disagreed. And in fact, your remarks there, it says, objective not met. The objective of the public participation was not met. And mind you, these public participations, this report, your report, was for public participations on the ground, not in City Hall. And then you come to Lumumba, it says the same thing. I want to understand, from your perspective as a governor of Nairobi, what will be the value of a peaceful public participation in these 3 estates, where they tell you in no uncertain terms they don't want the project? Will you still proceed with it, or will you listen to them? And from the residents' leadership, I want to understand, what would you want this public participation meeting to look like? Because even for you, every time you are sent a letter, you write to my office saying this does not look like public participation. What would that meeting look like to you, so that you are satisfied that it is public participation according to you? I want you to tell me the notice you would want, the venue, the people you would want to be there, if you want the chairperson of this committee to be there, the number of people you want to speak, how long you want the meeting to last. Please, so that we can guide you, paint a picture for us for what you consider an effective public participation. And tell us whether whatever you say must carry the day. If at the end of that meeting, there's people saying we want the project to proceed, will that be sufficient for you to allow this project to proceed? I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Chair, allow me just to say one thing.
Can you speak on behalf of everyone, because of time, on the question that has been asked by Senator Sifuna? But yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chair, my name's Jenna Chengolo, Vice Chair, Lumumba Residents Association. I just want to make one thing clear, according to what Governor has just said. Ametuweka kama sisi watu wa Lumumba ama Jericho, we are violent. We are not violent. We started with an NMS. Tulikuwa na Madam Marion. She came to the ground to meet us. Pamoja na nani? Kemboi. You can ask Kemboi. Hakuna hata siku moja mtu wa Lumumba aliwafukuza ama waligombanishwa. So if governor can come here and start saying Jericho
I think you're losing a critical moment. Yeah, to answer a question about how we can guide this process forward. Don't attack the governor, and he will not also respond to the things you're saying.
Okay, what I want to
paint a picture for us as a committee. How would this meeting look like?
Okay, since we are the representatives of the residents, we are here to say we need that public participation, but not at City Hall. We can do it at Camp Toyoyo, where all the residents wanaweza kuja, ndio governor asikie vile wanaongea. Senator has been there several times, anajua vizuri. We are peaceful people, hatuna vita. So the residents walitutuma. That public participation, kabla any project ifanyike, wakuje kwa ground, Camp Toyoyo, tutasema vizuri, all residents wakuje, hiyo mkutano ifanywe, ndio at least musikie what the residents, isikuwe ni sisi. Residents waseme vile wanataka.
Governor?
Wait. Sometimes you forget your chair. Just because I'm lenient doesn't make you chair of this committee. But I just wanted just one leader who has got a bird's eye view position.
But Chair, they have not said what would be different from the previous public. That question has not been answered. Because Senator Sifuna said, how would it be structured?
I get that question. That's what I'm doing. I want one leader, because I cannot go to all of you because of time. I just want one leader who can be able to respond to Senator Sifuna's question. Just one. Do you want to choose one among yourself? Should I give it to Kimani? Mgonda? Yes. I give Mgonda? Mgonda, go ahead. But make it short, eh?
Thank you, Chair. I would like to dispel this notion that Jericho is a violent, infested place.
Point of order, Chair. No one has said Jericho is a violent infested place. I have said there was a meeting.
Governor,
Chair, allow me.
Governor,
because it's getting.
But I also want you to.
On the 7th of April,
Governor,
my meeting was disrupted at City Hall. I'm not talking about Jericho. I
Governor,
come to Jericho all the time.
Governor, I want to request you that just speak through the chair. That's all I'm requesting you. If we start having people having mic here and there, it will be untidy. Just talk through the chair.
Through the okay. So
yes.
through the chair.
So just a minute. Let me just finish his thought.
I'm just clarifying
I'll
because the premise of where he's starting is wrong.
I get it, but if you start that way, you're going to each of you cutting each other talking. That they will do that to you as well.
Chair,
so just
Chair,
finish,
because
Chair.
I'm the asker of the question.
Wait.
I just want the chairman
just
to understand. Just paint a picture for us. Please forget about what everything else has been said. We have been captured unanswered. Please.
Chair, do you know the opportunity I've given you? I've given you opportunity to tell this committee, if you were to direct as a committee that another public participation is to be done, what would be your desired kind of form or kind and form of public participation, and what would be your desired outcome? The response was very clear, so I just wanted to respond to that on behalf of the others. Don't go into another response to what the governor said, the governor did not say. This specific question that Senator Sifuna has asked, restrict yourself to that.
Thank you, Chair. In the first place, we are an organized association. Both three associations are very organized. What we are asking, and this is our ask, come to the ground and engage us as your residents. We will create an opportunity where the less fortunate in society, the elderly, the young, and all people across the board will be able to attend that meeting. The committees have blockheads, we have area zones, PQRST, we have representatives, which actually boil up to an apex committee, where we will talk to these people, to the residents, arrange them, and bring them for such public participation. It's not hard. And that is the reason we are there. The other thing I would like to tell you is some of us would not want to disclose what our backgrounds are, what our professions are. However, we have ethics that we live up to, and are expected to live up to, even by our employers. We cannot do the opposite. So we will arrange our people, bring them together, give us ample time. A week is enough. We will bring the people on board, and all of them shall be arranged by these committees you see here, so that each one shall be heard and will present what we need to present, and let them be heard. We are only a bridge between the county government and the residents. They come through us not because we do anything, no. We want them to come, and that's why we'll go to door and bring them on board. That is why they elected us.
I want to give Governor opportunity to respond to the same question asked by Senator Sifuna.
Chair, the people of Jericho are my residents. If I want to do public participation in Jericho, I will call each and every tenant. I know all the tenants, they pay rent to us. But we will not go through an organization that has blocked previous public participation. That one, forget. We can't do that. And that's why I keep giving the example of the meeting 2 weeks ago, where residents were being threatened from even signing the register. People who have come willingly to a meeting are being told to mtaona takutana na nyinyi huko chini. And I will share with you those videos. We will not do that. We cannot. The people who are representatives of those residents are the MCA, the MP, the senator, the women rep, and myself, constitutionally, according to the law. Actually, those are the representatives. But if you see, and the outcome is predetermined, you will incite people and tell them, okay, maybe you don't incite, and tell them that the issue of this land being ours, we cannot budge from that. They would not change their mind. They hold very strongly.
Chair, Governor, with respect, the issue of ownership of land is properly before the National Land Commission. And in fact, Chair, my proposal would be that until that question is resolved by the NLC, maybe that meeting would not be attainable proposition. And because the meeting before the NLC is on the 30th, we as a committee can direct expedition of conclusion of that matter. Once it is clear, then that public participation meeting must occur. Chairman, I want to ask you a question. What is wrong with the county governor calling residents directly? They are your people anyway. And it is like your colleague there rightly said, it is the job of the county governor to convene the meetings, not the residents' associations. What is the problem with the proposal by the governor?
We have this fear. Always it has been selective.
No, it's all of them. Every single person in those estates. Is there something wrong with that?
No, there's
and
no
you know people who are not residents there. If you see somebody who's not a resident,
we do.
So is there a problem with that proposal?
No.
Okay.
I think with that comes the conclusion. Right? So I think I wanted just to make some observations here that I think
Excuse
that...
Chair, a moment. Only.
No.
30 seconds. 30 seconds, kindly.
Please
30 seconds.
understand that we cannot...
30 seconds, please.
If I open it up again,
Please.
it will be... let's proceed because we really need to get conclusion of the meeting. I wanted to observe, first of all, I want to thank you all for the participation that you have brought in. It is almost just a few minutes shy of 6 p.m. And we have really had, I would say robust, but also very heavy conversation. Because I can see how emotions are high on both sides. I wanted to just share some observations that we have had as a committee that could go as a matter of record. Even in that gratitude that we have heard from the governor, we have heard from the residents associations and representation. The first thing I must actually observe through the committee is that the county government of Nairobi is actually not well understood on its intentions, including the said development project and program, at least from the representation that we have in this room. There is no convergence in terms of just proper understanding between the county government of Nairobi and yourself in a number of variety of issues, and we're just making a valiant, all-encompassing observation in this, because that is what has led to a number of trust deficits that we're seeing, punches coming here and there. But alongside that, I also think that has also led to a very serious lack of goodwill, especially from the associations and the county government on both sides. I think I'm struggling with goodwill, and I think that members have also observed that there's a struggle with goodwill to resolve sometimes on some of these, outstanding issues. And it's interesting that some of those issues are also before the courts. So, for instance, when you talk about Woodley, there are issues that are standing, including the issues of reallocation, compensation. But again, we have established that they're in courts. And I think that's an issue of goodwill. How we resolve this issue of goodwill, I think it requires leadership. It requires either side to be magnanimous. And I wanted to appeal on the side of the governor particularly, that this magnanimity will come with the county government, my third observation, improving on a communication strategy. I don't know how you're going to figure this out, but because of the lack of that goodwill, especially from the association, and I'm speaking about the association because I cannot say all the residents, the associations that are represented here, there is an observation that there is a lack of public engagement framework. And I know, Governor, you have insisted on the issue of representation through the elected leaders and how we can engage in this. But I think that there just need to be a probably a joint public engagement framework between you and the associations. Because I think that what makes it very difficult is this issue that I'm observing, that is there's a possibility that a county officer can actually go to the ground and be meted by violence, whether it's insinuated or whether it's substantive as has been shared. That is completely unheard of about this kind of development projects. If the project is as good as has been shared by the governor, that should be unheard of. There should not be a situation whereby, for instance, there is an issue in Woodley, and then one of your officers needs to get to Woodley, even without security. They should be able to do it there harmoniously and peacefully, and be able to come back. And that for me is an observation around, that's the county government's communication strategy and public engagement. That and this is a recommendation now, and I hope that the residents association will listen to this. The committee has recommended that you must attend the meeting that has been convened by the National Land Commission on 30th. I think so. And abide by that letter. Then upon the establishment of that ownership, the committee will be served with that letter. I think it affects the residents of Jericho, Lumumba, Ofafa, and Maringo estates. That doesn't affect Woodley. Then after that, we as a committee hold the very strong view that public participation is something we cannot compromise on. It's a requirement of the Constitution. And therefore, it must be taken in a way that, to the best level possible, satisfies both sides. You cannot come from public participation with one side more satisfied than the other. At least there has to be some equilibrium or some balance. It is not easy to strike a good balance in public participation, because not everybody's view or expectation will be met. But because this is a development project that has got impact in many lives that are existing now and in future, should it go as been shared here, then that animosity can only be solved where people first feel listened to, but most importantly, where people disagree, at least they understand why a decision has been taken. And that's why I talk about public engagement. They understand that I disagree with this, but I appreciate where you're coming from and where you're going to. That is something that we must be able to achieve with this project. So therefore, just as Senator Sifuna has recommended, after the National Land Commission meeting, we would wish that the governor undertakes a public participation that considers the views of the stakeholders, especially, and I'm going to be very direct on this, of affected people who are currently residing in those houses. So not just residents, but affected people. What I mean by this is because right now, there are people who feel like they are house owners or land owners. It's rightfully so, until that dispute is sorted by the National Land Commission. But then once it is sorted, then that clarity will be there that if they are landowners, according to the National Land Commission, they will be the people affected. If they are not, according to the Land Commission, then they will be tenants.
If they're landowners, there's no project we'll be doing there.
Exactly. That's why I say people's affected.
So there'll be no need for any participation.
Exactly. So, no, but still, maybe you want to renegotiate.
We'll have no interest there.
Right? Yeah, and that's why I said this is a value recommendation, in the sense that...
Do you call the people who have the tenancy, or the people who live in the houses, or the people who are in the extensions?
We will call the people...
Or the ones who want houses?
we will call the people as defined by the National Land Commission.
They can't define, Chair. Chair, I have a house. Nimepatia huyu nyumba. Yeye anaishi Kilimani. But kuna mtu hapo anaishi. Niite yeye akuje mkutano ama ule anaishi kwa hiyo nyumba ama ule kwa extension.
Chair, it is very clear just in terms of guidance.
Yes.
The county government, the people claiming that property are tenants. They are known. They are tenants who pay the county government. Yeah, so everybody will have an interest, including me who doesn't live there.
Yeah. So
in terms of as a leader in Nairobi, but the public participation that we are talking about is with the residents.
Residents
of these 3
or tenants?
The residents are the tenants. The ones who pay you
that's
money.
Not the same.
Yeah, you don't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's not the same.
I know what you're saying. You have tenants, people who pay you money.
Yeah, but
those are the
don't
people,
live there.
Those are the people who I'm talking about.
So those who live there or
Yeah.
those who pay us?
You are tenants.
Okay, that's clear.
The people who you've given the houses.
That is clear.
Because that is the people you have a direct relationship with.
Kabisa.
If you demolish that house, the only relationship that is affected is between the tenant and the landlord.
And that's why I said, Governor, that affected house owners, in the sense that right
We
now,
don't have owners, Chair.
no, wait.
There are no owners. You know, this is a house of record.
Just wait. And I've said quote unquote, in the sense that there is a pending issue under National Land Commission on ownership question. I want us to get there.
Chair, allow us how we can finish
Just a
this
moment.
meeting, please. It's already 6. Chair, you did very well. Chair, just allow me, please.
Just a moment. Let me just make clarity. We have observed here that there's an issue of ownership that is lying with the National Land Commission. That question, Senate cannot resolve. That definition, the Senate cannot resolve. And that's why I'm saying the public participation can only happen after the National Land Commission has pronounced itself on this issue. Okay? So what we are saying here is that, Governor, the recommendation here is you only hold that public participation after the National Land Commission, which we have directed the the associations to make sure they attend. You only hold that meeting after that National Land Commission pronouncement. And therefore, that means that based on that definition, then you will invite the people based on that definition. Because I don't want to assume, what Safuna said, that it's not what you want that might not have been defined. If the National Land Commission, for instance, says that those residents, as you call them, own their houses, then they're the people who must participate there. If they say otherwise, then they're the tenant. So I think that we're saying the same thing, but I'm leaving it to proper record.
Maybe why don't you wait, Chair, with due respect to, why don't you wait for that outcome?
Exactly.
Because, Senate doesn't, you don't rule in vain. So that once that outcome comes out, then you can just communicate a resolution to us. You don't have to figure it out now. But we know generally what we want to do.
You see, Chair, I think just allow us to also guide a bit. And I think the governor has just said it. Let us not pronounce ourselves in vain as a committee. There is a serious determination pending before the National Land Commission. If they say that the tenants own the land, that story ends there. The county government can appeal or whatever, but they will have no status on that land. If they say the land belongs to the county government of Nairobi, then as a committee, we can make a resolution on, then there are human beings who live here. How do you treat these human beings who live on your land and they have lived here for this number of years? Before that happens, I don't think we can even make an accommodation.
Senator, what I'm trying to do here, we cannot convene the associations and the governor again to run a meeting to determine a public participation. That's why I'm leaving an open-ended guidance, right? We are giving a guidance. We are already determined that the meeting must continue at the National Land Commission. But we can't live here and they say that when the National Land Commission makes a determination, then we reconvene the governor and reconvene the associations to make a decision on the issue of public participation. Because the substantive issue that has come here is the issue of what I would call a satisfactory public participation. And Governor, I'm giving you and the Residential Association an open, in that engagement, an open framework for which then you must conduct the public participation. Should it come out that the decision is that the residents don't own the land, then you must have the meeting with the tenants with whom you have had an engagement. And even if you're to conclude that, because this is you're serving in public trust, assume that the National Land Commission say that this land belongs to the residents. I don't think that you just have a closure that, okay, I'm taking the books that has been decided, I'm closing the books. I think the public participation process can, if you wish to,
Point of order,
can still go on that conclusion. So I'm giving you an open book that the major point is that that meeting happens after the National Land Commission meeting. Then the last thing here would be after the public participation that will happen after the National Land Commission, we will require the county government to actually appraise this committee with the the 22 individuals are in court. That is what came out, Governor, if that is clear. So then, on this matter, I think we will allow for the governor and the association from Woodley to find an amicable resolution on it. Because it's a matter in court, governor has insisted that he can only be able to facilitate that payment if the residents are out of court. But also I think the residents also feel like it's an issue that, you know, it's a right that they must be given. I think I would give you 1 week, Governor, in that engagement framework to engage with the 22 and you know, just appraise the Senate on that engagement, whether you are getting to an amicable ground.
Chair, can I just make a slight amendment?
Sure.
Just like the matter that is before the Land Commission, this one before the court as well, I would propose that you just allow the court process to conclude, and then the governor can deal from there, because it's going to be very difficult.
That's also fine. That's also fine. But Senator seem to be banning on
yes,
something.
what you are trying to say here is something that's supposed to be in our final submissions. So I think you can keep some of them so that when we sit, we'll be having all those things in our final submission. Kindly, please.
No, I agree, but the residents must go with something home, right? So I think with that, then I think it would be in order to say I'm grateful to all of us for sitting this long, canvassing these issues. And with that, the meeting stands adjourned for the committee up until Friday the 2nd, when we'll be meeting in Machakos for the other committee works that have already been communicated to you. Thank you, Governor, and thank you, the teams from the different 5 estates. We want to wish you a safe journey back home. Thank you.